All right, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Future Ruins. And today we decided to go ahead and do the metal tag as a live stream. And this was actually Tyler's idea. We were just kind of chatting about it. And, typically people will do the metal tag video, kind of upload it. Yeah, I thought that was a great idea, man, just to just go ahead and just do it live and just go through it.
Yeah,
so
just rip through it.
Yeah, I mean, so this was Marty and Alan over at Metallurgy that threw out the metal tag this year. I guess this typically gets done every year. I did it last year as well. I think it was the Rock Scout that kind of started it. I don't know if he actually started it, but he was the one that threw it out last year. And so yeah, man. So we figured we'll just take basically, if you don't know what the metal tag is, it's 20 questions that gets thrown out to the rest of the community and everybody. It's kind of just meant to be sort of a conversation starter or kind of showing off collection and just kind of having some fun with it. So obviously I've got Tyler here and then also my good buddy Devon. I haven't had Devon on the channel before, so it's been kind of long overdue, man, to have you on, especially since you had me on last year for you. We did our sort of like middle of the year kind of best of, and getting to see you for shows and stuff like that. It's been a while, man, and it may be a while again before I see you again for another round of whatever.
Round of drinking too much at Emperor shows.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that was now a fond memory for both of us. So yeah, a fine meeting of the minds at the YouTube Theater in LA for the Emperor show. Yeah, that was cool, man. It was a lot of fun. Cool, guys. Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and just get started, and maybe we'll just wrap up with just kind of see what you guys are up to with your channels. I mean, obviously kind of well into the new year, and I haven't really had a whole lot going on since we did our year end, and basically started a new job. And so like the last month has been pretty time consuming as far as like the transition that I've been making and just trying to get used to the new gig. And but it's going to be really great in the long run. I'm going to have a lot more time off, so hoping to really take advantage of that and be able to shoot a lot more hiking content this year is the goal and the hope. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so basically, let's go through the 20 questions. And the first one for the Metal Tag 2024 is basically name a release you're eagerly anticipating in 2024. And so I've got a lot of the year left. So I actually picked a couple for this one. I think what I'm anticipating the most is going to be the new Alcest record. I know that they're pretty much done the new record as far as I know. From what I can tell on Instagram, they've already finished recording, and it's been, I think, probably 3 or 4 years since Spiritual Instinct came out. As a lot of people that watch my channel know that this is one of my favorite bands, and very excited to see what they're going to bring on this next one, because honestly, for me, this was the first time I felt like they kind of winged it a bit. It's still a really good record, but it wasn't, I don't know, I just hold their early records in such high regard. And I think they've really, I mean, they haven't really put out anything bad, but, for this one, I felt like it was just, I don't know, it just kind of felt like a little bit more of the same, and really top heavy. Like the first half is like really good. The second half kind of loses me a little bit. So it was kind of like this sort of, wasn't as like expansive as I expect Alcest to be. So I think for this next one, I guess I'm looking forward to see, are they going to kind of turn it around for me? I'm probably in the minority for that, because a lot of people really love this record. And again, it's really good. I like it. It's just wasn't quite as amazing as I found some of the earlier stuff. So very stoked to see what they're going to bring to the table. And also really quick, I also picked Winter File F. I know that they're pretty much done in the studio as well.
Oh,
UK band. Yeah, I think I've been following them on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure they just got out of the studio as well. And Winter File F is a band that I've always kind of liked, but recently in the last couple of years, I've really gotten into them, especially with that neo-folk record they put out before this, The Hollowing of Hairdom. And then this is the newest one, the Reckoning Dawn. And this was just a monster record. If you dig these guys, I feel like they really stepped it up. But I always felt like Winter File F was sort of like, meat and potatoes, atmospheric black metal, like good band, but like it would just, you get halfway through the record and it would kind of just be sort of samey. But this one, I really felt like they they just released a really strong black metal record. So very excited to see what they're going to bring to the table for this next one. But this only came out like I think 2 or 3 years ago. So it seems like they're kind of on a roll and starting to release stuff. And I'm kind of hoping to see on this one, since they did that neofolk record, I think they kind of injected a lot more of that into this. So I'd like to see them bring even more of that to the table for this next one. So Tyler, what are you anticipating the most for this next year?
Actually, I forgot about the Winter Phylith. It was funny. I don't follow I don't religiously follow too many bands on the social medias, as it were. I mean, I follow them, but I'm not like checking their pages daily for updates or anything. But one artist I am looking forward to a new album from is Germany's Fern.
Oh, I remember this from last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was actually, I've been following this because they released this album. He did a couple tours and then they were right back in the studio working on stuff. And the last update, or the first update I saw, said that they were going to have a new album by the end of 2023. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. Here's going to be my list record because I really like this album, so I have high hopes for the next one. But it looks like it's going to come out, later this winter into the spring sometime. But I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what it's going to be called or anything, but I just know there's going to be a new Fern album. And then also Dalthus. Dalthus just wrapped up recording for a new album as well. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Sweet. All right, Dev, what you got, man?
So I pulled out 2. One, it's been confirmed. The second one is wishful hoping. But the first one's been confirmed is the new Skeletal Remains record, March 1st through Century Media, which I wish they didn't charge a lot for the records because they're kind of overpriced. But yeah, just good. Fast death metal from LA. And then the one that's kind of hopeful thinking because they haven't done anything since 2017. So it's been 7 years. There's a new Perverted Ceremony record. Put that through NWN, kind of fast, evil black metal from Belgium, which the one that's kind of dumb. Super evil black metal and pink vinyl. I'm not sure why, but okay. Yeah. Good shit if you like the super occult evil black metal from Belgium.
Yeah, that's the problem with those Central Media releases, man. They're just way too much for the vinyl. That's why that new that's another one I didn't mention. The new Borknagar is going to be dropping too.
Oh,
looking forward to that.
I've liked what I've heard of that so far.
Yeah, I listened to the 2 tracks as well. They sounded really good, and I think they've kind of been on a upswing. I think on the last 2 records, especially the last one. But the problem is, they're on Century Media, so I'll likely just buy it on CD because especially if it's a double LP, you're going to pay, at least $40 for the vinyl. So you get that, the shipping, it definitely ends up coming out to like 50 or so. But yeah, Skeletal Remains as well, Dev. I've managed to miss them a bunch of times because they play live a lot. They've been here, and the last time they came through, I think they were with on that Suffocation tour, and I ended up not going to that because I had just seen them at Death Fest with Death to All not too long ago. So I opted not to go. And these days, I have to drive up to Denver from Springs for shows, and now that I'm getting up at 6 a.m. for work, it's just even a lot harder.
Yeah.
So. All right. Chinese New Year 2024 is the year of the dragon. Show off an album either inspired by or containing dragons on the cover. So this one is a pretty easy. Actually, it's funny. I'm sure you guys ran into the same thing. There's like a billion things you probably could have picked from your collection, but this was a more recent one. I almost went with the Twilight Force record, which I was originally going to pick until I came across this one. Twilight Force, it's very cheesy power metal, but it's killer stuff. I really dig it. But I went with the latest Old Sorcery Dragon Citadel Elegies. And if you've watched my channel, you've heard these guys' music because I've used quite a bit of it in some of my hiking videos. And as far as Dungeon Synth goes, I honestly think that this guy is the best. I think this record it came out 2022, and he's got 2 previous ones that make up a trilogy with this one called the Castle Trilogy. And this is the guy behind War Moon Lord and Argent Thorns or Argent Thorns. He's also put out that Tenebrarium record last year, which I really liked a lot. A lot more like just goblin inspired, 70s prog rock kind of stuff. But Old Sorcery is his dungeon synth, and even though this is fairly new, this is as far as dungeon synth goes, this is my favorite dungeon synth record of anything. I'm a casual dungeon synth guy. I mean, I like the stuff. It's just there's so much of it out there that I need people to tell me what's the best stuff to get. I learned about this from the guy from Worm, actually, when he was on Ken's Death Metal Crypt stream in 2022, and they were talking about this. And I don't know. I just think as far as dungeon synth goes, I mean, a lot of it's really good, but a lot of it just blends together. Whereas this guy does exactly what I like to hear or what I want out of dungeon synth. Very just cinematic and just varied and intricate orchestration. You know what I mean? It's not just farting around on a Casio. It's very very well done music. You know, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, because a lot of dungeon synth tends to be that. It's just kind of, not too much to it. This feels like a soundtrack in a lot of ways, and you can even see a little bit of the Goblin influence in there as well. But it's such a fucking great record, man. Cool pressing, and all this guy's stuff. The Argent Thorns is really good, like Balsagot style stuff. The War Moon Lord is his Black.
Yeah, War Moon Lord. Yeah, War Moon Lord is awesome.
It's hard to say. Yeah, but the guy's excellent pretty much at everything he does. So, but that's my dragon pick for this one. All right, Tyler.
All right, so this is my one obscure, kind of the obscure album. If Peter is watching, he probably know who these guys are. But the Russian band called Rasa Mahar, Imperium Tenebrum, and this came out. Late 90s, 97, 98, I think. I haven't actually listened to this for a little bit now, but 99 is when this came out. But anyway, just super symphonic Russian black metal, plain and simple. They look like they're putting on a pretty cool live show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forget where I picked this up. I think I got it like on an eBay lot or something like the year 2000, so quite a while ago. But no, it's a good listen. And then they actually have a song on here. The last song is oh shit, I'm brain farting now because I'm getting over a crud. Call of Cthulhu. They basically reworked Call of Cthulhu into an actual song with vocals and lyrics and everything. Yeah. Of course, they don't call it the Call of Cthulhu. What do they call it? Portals of Chaos, the Final Transmigration. And yeah, because first time I heard this, I was like, wait a minute, this song sounds fucking familiar. Oh, that's why. They even give credit to Metallica in the lyric booklet. But yeah, Rasa Mahar, Imperium Tenebrum, pretty obscure Russian symphonic black metal, pretty much as you'd expect. The music is not a lot like what the cover looks like. So take that as you will.
Cool. Have not heard of that one. Especially if it's early 90s, especially from Russia.
Yeah, like I said, I got some kind of lot or something. Like I don't recall where I got it, but I got it.
Cool. All right, Dev, what you got, man?
Going from something super obscure to something super obvious. Killing the Dragon from Dio.
Oh, nice.
Oh, fuck yeah.
My favorite Dio record post the fourth record, so the later stuff definitely his best, though, yeah. Favorites on this one, the title track, Among Comes a Spider, Better in the Dark, Rock and Roll, Push, Throwaway Children, but yeah. Killer record. This would have been a better album to end on instead of the last one, but yeah, good record. Dio.
Oh, yeah. You probably could have spent a whole stream on picking albums with dragons on the cover. So,
yeah,
that was one of the ones, I guess, one of the only questions in this one that it was kind of a hard pick because there were so many to choose from.
Actually, a lot of the latter Dio albums had dragons on covers, starting with Sacred Heart.
Or, quite a few Blind Guardian records I could probably pick.
Rhapsody of Fire.
Yeah, totally. All right. So what was your favorite album that you acquired in 2023? So I guess this was kind of a double-edged question. I guess you could either pick what was your favorite from 2023, or if you just had a favorite record that you didn't have a physical copy of that you happened to acquire in 2023, of which I didn't. So, I mean, I just kind of took it for, I'll just throw out my favorite record of 2023, and that was the Valdrin Throne of the Lunar Soul. I mean, what was my favorite record of 2023? Undoubtedly, this record just beat everything by a long shot. Of course, we talked about this on the year-end stream, but I mean, I'm happy to talk about it again because I love it so much and I listen to it a lot. And we were kind of talking before we went live about just how weird it is that none of us had ever heard of this band until this moment. This, obscure band from Cleveland, Ohio that sounds like they could certainly be from Norway or Sweden. And just amazing symphonic black metal. And they got the melodies to boot. They got the guitar solos to boot. I mean, the keyboards, everything just coalesces perfectly in this band and the way that they write their songs. And it's another one that could have easily a lot of people could have been turned off by the length of it because it's over an hour of music. But
I felt like it flew by real fast though.
Me too. Yeah. I just, every single song, and there's not anything I don't like on it, and it just, and we were kind of talking about this on the year end, was that 2023 was an insane year for releases. There was just so much good shit. More so than, and I'm always like, how is this year going to top last year? But I think 2023 topped the previous 2 years, combined almost, and this one kind of floated in pretty late in the year for me, but wow, it's just an amazing record. And I kind of hope to see these guys kind of rise up the ranks a bit and get a little bit more notoriety because they certainly deserve it.
I agree 100%.
All right, Tyler, what you got did you pick your favorite of last year or?
Yeah, because I was thinking of, I picked up a few things that weren't necessarily 2023 releases, but none of them got me as excited as my favorite album of last year.
Yep.
The newest Aldridge album, Folklore from Further Out. I mean, like you said, we discussed all these albums on our year-end list, but I mean, God, what did you say? This is a classy, well-composed, well-put-together, just black metal album. I mean, it's just there's grandeur to this without being overly symphonic or anything like that. It's just the way that the main guy puts these tracks together, puts those songs together, the way he incorporates neo-folk tracks in between, and they don't sound like, real cheap, just, filler tracks. Like you hear on a lot of black metal albums, they'll throw that, that staple acoustic track to show that, that they're atmospheric or that they're more than just a metal band, so to speak. But no, it's just, as I said in the year end, this is the album I was the most vested in because I did a collaborative review on Black Metal Daily for this. Me and one of the other main guys from Black Metal Daily did a collaborative interview with the main guy of this band, the only interview he granted last year, which I'm pretty stoked on that. So yeah, I mean, how could it not be my favorite album from 2023? Just the amount of time I invested into this album.
Yeah, the amount that we talked about it too, I think. I mean, I brought it up on Metallurgy. I think we had it on our mid-year stream. It got picked quite a bit on the year-end stream. It wasn't in my top 10, but it was 11, I think, for me. But it was still.
Yeah. So my number one, it was everyone else's number two. It was Russ's and Ryan's number two.
Yeah. Devon, have you checked that Aldridge out yet?
No, not yet. I've been meaning to.
I think you'll like it.
Man,
It's really good. It's Excellent. I mean, especially if you're into like the, it's not like you would think it would be like really, really cult, but to me, it's pretty expansive. And I mean, it has a rock sound to it, but
I don't find it to be cult at all. It's pretty. I mean, it's definitely not polished. It's not. Doesn't sound commercial by any means, but no, it's like you said. There's just like I was saying in the year-end thing. So that Strayor album, my number 2, I listened to it way more than that. But whenever I put that on, I'm like, yeah, there's no fucking way that anything touches this album. But at the same time, though, it's like it's not an album I'm going to hammer over and over and over and over again. I can get through like one or two playthroughs, and it's not a strain on the ears, but it's just there's just so much that happens on that album musically. Like it's just so musically dense that it's just like, okay, cool, I got my fill. I can move on to something else for a while, and then circle back around like in a few days. But yeah, fantastic album.
Yeah, agreed. All right, Dev, what you got, man?
Yeah, I didn't pull my favorite 2023 record. I pulled my favorite one I bought. This finally got a reissue. This banger.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, dude.
Indecently Obscene. Depending on my mood, I may like this more than the debut, but I don't know, it depends. But yeah, favorites on this one definitely Skinfather and Reborn in Blasphemy. But yeah, 1993 originally, but 2023 Nuclear Blast reissues. Yep.
Dude, yeah. Classic.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have a hard time picking between those two as well, Dev. I'd probably go with the debut, but that one's really great too.
I'm still pissed at canceled MDF.
What was the debut album? It wasn't the Pieces EP, was it?
Like an Ever Flowing Stream.
Oh yeah, of course. Duh.
Yeah, that's it. I got both of them. What color did you get? Some colors on those?
Yeah, this one I think is blue.
Oh, you got the blue. Okay. And you got did you get the blue one for the debut as well?
Yeah, let me see.
I think they had I think it was like a cyan black kind of deal. Hey, what's up, Ben?
Let me show you the debut one. Yeah, blue too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's you got the box set, didn't you?
Yeah.
Man, you went all out. I just got the first two on the vinyl presses for the first two. I've got all their stuff on CD and like a bunch of tapes too. So I would have jumped on that box set, but man, that thing went like within 10 minutes. You must have jumped right on it.
No, my friend who lives in Australia sent me the link, but it was like 6 hours ahead his time, so I was able to get on it right away. He said, "Hey, it goes live in like 10 minutes, so go get it." So I was able to log on and get it.
Shit, that's awesome.
Rick, that probably ended up happening to somebody because I know you're joking about it, and it just like made a new life for somebody.
Well, I know Ben bought a Fleshcore record, and I think what was it that he bought? Something came. I think it was Pet Shop Boys album came instead of Fleshcore.
Yeah, I'm pissed they didn't. I know. I can't believe I was really pissed that they didn't do Dev Fest, Dev, and now they're doing it this year, and I'm not gonna be able to go.
Yeah,
coming up actually in a later question. But all right. So was there a title in 2023 that you were satisfied to purchase digitally, not on physical media, and why? So for me, I don't purchase digital music. I don't think I've ever purchased a digital record. I guess the only reason I would do that is if there was, they didn't have a physical copy to buy. So I do use Bandcamp. I mean, just for checking stuff out. I've just recently moved to Spotify. I've been resistant of Spotify for the longest time. I'm an old school MP3 kind of guy from back in the day of downloading stuff. And I know it's downloading illegally, but my whole justification for it was that I would download stuff off SoulSeek, and if I really liked the record, I would buy it. So that I felt like I felt like that gave me sort of carte blanche to be able to download it. And if I didn't like it, then I would probably not even keep the MP3s anyway, or would have never bought it anyway. But I've reluctantly moved to Spotify recently, and even though I kind of hate myself for it. I guess it's just the way it is, and it's kind of inevitable. But I've never stopped buying physical media. But in terms of streaming music and listening to stuff, but anyway, the whole digital purchase, I did not purchase anything digital, so the best I've got is a record that I still have not purchased yet physically, but I've been listening to digitally a lot, and that would be the new Necrofire, the Houston band. Got the name. I know you've got that one, Dev, because that was one of your favorites from the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Burning Shadows of the Southern Night? Is that it?
And then I have the debut too.
I've got that one. I bought that at Death Fest.
Yeah, I missed the set. I was busy sleeping that day.
Yeah, I remember. Well, because you got to go. That was you went and saw. That was the night before with Sacramentum, right? And Necrophobic.
Sacramentum played last.
Yeah, that was I wanted to stay and go see that, but the guys I was with, I was staying back in Philly that night. So, Dan wanted to get back, and we were all pretty tired from the night before too, after staying up for Ruins of Everest. So I wish I'd have been able to stay though. But I remember at the time I was like, and the guys were like, yeah, dude, we'll stay if you really want to. I was like, man, I'm exhausted anyway. So as much as I want to see those bands, like I'm good with going home as well. But anyway, Necrofire, they were one of the first bands on Saturday, I think it was. And I had never heard of them, and their set won me over. They're very much like a blackened death metal or like a death and black metal type band. They're kind of a mixed mash of both. But they do have a sort of heavy dissection sort of vibe to them, very melodic, but extreme, great band from Texas, even at that. And they just, I don't know, the debut is really good, and they just got signed to Season of Mist and released the one that Devon just showed. And it's a really good record if you're into that kind of stuff. I like it a lot. I still need to pick up a physical of it, but Necrofire, I think we're going to see a lot more of them. In fact, they're going to be on that Worm tour coming up with Worm and Holder. I'm definitely going to go try and catch that when it comes to town here in March. But Necrofire, very, very cool stuff. That's about the best I've got for a digital kind of purchase sort of question here. So
yeah, I still need to snag that one. I've liked what I've heard of that.
Yeah, you'll like that one, Ty, for sure.
So in our private chat, I sent a link to my favorite digital purchase I made this year.
Oh, cool. Okay. Let's see, I'll bring it up. Actually, I don't know if I can actually. So I have like a new. You can't really tell for people that watch my channel, but I have a new setup. I used to have 2 monitors, and now I have just this one big monitor. So I don't know if I can actually share. But anyway, go ahead and talk about it, Tyler. I'll see if I can bring it up.
So it's a U.S. band called Purgosia, and I just forgot where they're from. Definitely not. I mean, U.S. black metal, like typically the style that a lot of U.S. black metal bands play, isn't really reflective of where they're from, so to speak. So hold on, I'm going to pull this up real quick on my end.
All right, I was able to
anyway. Oh, cool. So Purgosia, New Hampshire. So they're probably, I imagine they probably run in the same circles as like the Forest Thrall and a lot of those bands that come from there. But anyway, it's some absolutely face melting, very like medieval French style black metal. Just that real furious, tremolo picking like you would hear like on Behemoths or Sonopfer. It's just that's really the best way to describe it. It's like that real raging, fast style, very melodic. I'd say like that kind of medieval edged black metal. But it's funny, like the themes on their album is like it's all about Hellenic paganism. Basically like Greek paganism, but musically is very much not Greek style black metal. It's very much rooted in the aforementioned French, fast and furious, riffs for days, and just it absolutely destroys. I hope that someday it'll come out on CD, but most bands these days, like small bands like that, it's going to be released on cassette, and they'll probably never get it. but for now, it's strictly digital only, and I came about it through that Facebook group I'm part of, the Order of the Black Arts. Someone posted it there, and I was like, "Holy shit, this rips!" So, yep, I added it to my library, and I listened to it quite a bit, actually.
Did that make your list last year? Or
So not my official list. So I actually did 2 lists for Black Metal Daily. I did one that was strictly like digital, because usually my big thing with my year-end thing is I got to have a physical copy. But then I realized that meant that I'm leaving a lot of stuff on the table. A lot of really good, really noteworthy stuff that I'm not going to talk about, or I'm not really going to share unless I have a way to do it. And I don't know. I started fucking around with my list and trying to mix and match and throwing some of the digital stuff in there, and I just couldn't do it. Like, I like having my physical media to be able to grab and show. And so, yeah, on Black Metal Daily, I did, like, they call it, so all the editors, they call it the list crush. And I got to do 2, and one of them was called the Digi Crush. And I did like a top 10 or 15 digital releases on that. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, it rips. Like I said, if you like that Vehemence, Sunopfer, Alderon, etc., like, then that would be very much up your alley.
I was gonna say, it kind of looked like that. I really dug that Alderon record. That's good shit.
Yeah. Yeah, very similar. Like I said, it's just guitar theatrics. So pretty impressive.
All right, Dev, what did you get?
Yeah, so I don't buy anything on digital. If I'm buying something, I want a physical, but I'll show one I've been listening to I haven't bought yet. So I'm going to butcher the shit out of this band name. It's Totenwache, I think. Totenwache.
Mm-hmm.
So they're German, and they're basically like another band that sounds like they're trying to be Finnish, so like So Krister kind of, but more epic, because these are kind of long songs. So yeah, just fast, awesome, riffy German black metal. I think this is their debut album from 2019, so probably due for a new one. But yep, good shit.
Yeah, Totenwache.
Totenwache, yeah.
Yeah, I remember I checked that one out before. Yeah, that is good stuff. Now, I like that album cover. I mean, it just screams cult. And kind of old school.
All right, show an album that musically doesn't match the cover art. This was kind of a hard one for me, actually. But even though like the cover art's always shit, I should have. Here it is. Should have grabbed it. Always very important to me is cover arts. This one, I think it's easy to kind of pick like art that sucks, or it was hard to find something that was just like totally like didn't match the music. This was the best I could come up with. This was a release last year that really could have been on my year-end list, but it just kind of ranked lower than some other stuff. But a great record was the new Imperium Decadence with Into Sorrow Evermore. Great German atmospheric black metal band, and I don't know. I mean, like, I don't dislike this cover art. It's just doesn't really evoke what the music does for me. And I feel like this band, I like a lot of their music. They've got a lot of really good records. I don't think this one was as good as the last one from a few years ago. And then We Are Forgotten or something like that. Go Be Forgotten or something like that. But it's a really good record. Very vibey, atmospheric black metal that's not always like blast fest. It's got a lot of moods and slow kind of tempos. But they're Germans, and Germans always know how to do it. But yeah, I mean, like, as far as the cover art, I feel like these guys, the past 3 records that I really dig, always kind of suffered from not bad cover art, just not really feeling like it matched what I was hearing. I mean, these guys sound like I don't want to say like depressive, but just very emotionally driven atmospheric black metal. And but it does for me evoke nature and just maybe not necessarily wilderness, but just I guess, paganism in a lot of ways. And every, the last cover art was kind of similar to this, where it was like a figure standing in the middle of a bunch of candles, and it was just kind of like, that doesn't really match, even that on the back is kind of the other part with the two masks. And, there's two main guys in the band, so I guess it kind of fits their whole thing because, a yin and yang sort of concept. But I don't know. It's just, this doesn't really fit what I hear there. But regardless, it's not terrible. It just, I think it's one of those things that they just shows, and especially if you like see some of their videos, like there's a lot more kind of nature driven stuff like in their imagery versus like the cover art. So yeah, I don't know. I just not really digging it too much, but love their logo and love this band. And this could have easily been on my year-end list last year. There was just too much good stuff, and this came out early in the year. I almost kind of like forgot about it, but
yeah,
great,
that's one that kind of fell by the wayside for me. Like,
yeah,
I saw it when it first came out. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I need to come back around to it. And then, like you said, there was so much shit that came out. It just kind of got buried in the deluge, as they say.
That's Season of Mist, right?
No, actually, they're on Napalm Records now. They were on Season of Mist for the previous, the one before, 2 records before this, Dismanibus, which is a great record as well. They were on Season of Mist, and then they moved over to Napalm for the last 2. But yeah, man, I feel like I need to go revisit this. But awesome band that I feel like kind of gets overlooked a lot. So, what you got, Tyler?
Well, I too have a German band, and it was released on Seasons of Mist, but it was the 2021 album by Der Weg einer Freiheit, Nocturne.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you look at this, like, it doesn't scream atmospheric, slash post. I guess you could say they're a post black metal band in a way. But yeah, this cover art is very it's very unbecoming of what is contained therein, which is a pretty atmospheric and very blast heavy style melodic black metal. And like I said, there is some post elements, some clean vocals here and there. This is the one I actually got the box set of this. So this is like the CD, DVD. It's got some live show, but really good band. This is one of the more modern black metal bands that I really, really enjoy, and I've always enjoyed. And I really like their drummer, Tobias Schuler. That guy is an absolute monster on the drums. But yeah, you look at that cover, and like it does not scream raging, blast heavy black metal to me.
Yeah, it's very abstract, kind of like
a Devon Townsend album.
Sure.
I mean, even the back, like, I mean, you see it. I mean, you can see the Seasons of Mist logo, and you know that they don't release like not metal stuff. So I mean, like this kind of clues you in, but if you just see only that in the store, then yeah, you're not gonna. But it's a really good album, and those guys should be. I think those guys are working on a new album as well. Come to think of it.
It's 3 black metal albums in a row. So this album cover is what turned me off of this band originally, but once I finally checked it out, I really enjoyed it.
Oh,
yeah.
This could be honestly like an emo album cover if you didn't have corpse paint on. It's kind of dumb. So it's like my friend calls it Transylvanian Sadness, which is kind of appropriate.
Yeah.
Like if Evil Feast made Panzerfaust, kind of, is what this sounds like to me. I think this
except a lot more sad boy.
Yeah, more sad boy. So yeah, I think it's coming out 2022, I believe. 22, 21, but yeah. One guy project. That's definitely his best of the 2 so far. Yeah, awesome band from the Ukraine. Yep, good shit.
Yep.
Kektorak, Pale Swordsman.
Dude, that one seriously made the rounds. I would say that was 2022. That one came out. Yeah, everyone was talking about that one. Russ isn't wrong. Like he.
Oh Jesus.
No, he's one. He's definitely one of the more modern day artists where they're like, I mean, like Lamp of Murmur, I guess, would kind of fall into that. It's like I'm just gonna play what I want to play, and just whatever I'm feeling like. He's kind of following a similar path.
All right, show an album. Who is a metal artist that you own the most items by? Pretty easy pick for me. It's gonna have to be Opeth because this is the first Opeth record first CD I ever bought by the band. I bought this in probably, I mean, what year did it come out? Because I had just gotten into Morning Rise, and then this dropped 98. I probably bought this in 98 or 99 at when it was still Warehouse Records or whatever it was, the CD here. And the CD is probably scratched to hell. I've since bought it on vinyl, but I probably own the most Opeth stuff because I've got basically everything on CD. In those early days, late 90s, early 2000s, I mean, this band was kind of not only my favorite band, but really kind of was a resurgence for me in metal and got me into a gateway to a lot of other stuff as well. And love the band. Still love the band. Everything through Watershed, I think, is pretty much great. Wasn't a huge fan of the new direction, but still good stuff as well. Just didn't. Still to this day, when they release a new record, I still pick it up, even though I know I'm probably not going to like it that much. But yeah, I mean, I had everything on CD, and then I ended up getting all the early stuff on vinyl. I've got live CDs, bootlegs that I've made actual CDs out of, and I've got so much, and they've got a lot of records, So, but between all the CDs and the vinyl that I have, I've got everything, from Orchid all the way up through Watershed on vinyl as well as CD. So just because I think all those are worth having on vinyl, and it's still, whenever you think of their new direction, what they, can't take away what they did in the past. And so even though I don't really listen to Opeth very much these days anymore, because, that was just, these are records that I've just spun to death a long time ago, but you can't deny, especially this one, just the impact that those Opeth records had. So yeah, it's probably what I've got the most of in terms of my collections, between that and maybe Enslaved or Alcester, So, but you, Ty?
This is actually going to be kind of a surprise because, I've kind of poo-pooed on this band's latter part of their discography for a while, but I probably have the most stuff by Marduk.
Oh,
believe it or not. So I have all the albums up to. Actually, I don't think I ever purchased Wormwood. I thought Wormwood was the last album I bought, but I think I have everything through ROM 512. I got all the import EPs. I got 2 of the live albums, 2 DVDs, the Black Crown box set, and that one. I got the one that's got the VHS tape. That's how old that is. That's probably. Yeah, I can't think of another band that I have nearly as much miscellaneous stuff from. And like I said, and I've literally just neglected the whole latter because I didn't like Wormwood, and then albums after that did not grab my attention at all. Although that newest one, like I should probably give that one more spins because I do like that one the most of the last however many albums.
I thought Victoria was boring as hell, so I didn't bother with the last one.
Oh, dude, like, don't even get me started on that one. Like, when that came out, like, everyone was like, "Oh my god!" Like, look at the artwork; it's so different from Marduk. Oh, this is such an innovative album, and I felt the same way. I listened to it, I was like, "This is boring as shit." Like Morgan's Victoria.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
The riff sounded tired. Like it sounded like Morgan was tired. So it's probably why Memento Mori, like Mortis. That's probably why he did most of the writing on that one. Come to find out. Yeah. So that's probably why I like what I've heard of that newest one, because it's more like a Funeral Mist album than a true Marduk album. Yeah,
well, I mean, Mortis wrote basically everything on there, I think.
Yeah.
So,
But like I said,
it's good.
that's probably why musically it's better than Victoria was. And
It's
really the
definitely
last
better than
few
Victoria.
albums.
I enjoyed Victoria. It wasn't great, but the new one's better for sure. It's pretty intense. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think
Go ahead.
so. I think really my biggest issue with the Marduk albums, and like I said, maybe it's just a real petty ass thing, but so they had Frederick Anderson for the longest time. Actually, I forgot who was the guy that drummed on this one. He was also the vocalist. Oh no, yeah, the Joachim Grave or whatever, on Dark Endless. But anyway, Frederick Anderson for the majority of their albums, and then they had Email. I can't pronounce his last name. And both those guys, they were like literal powerhouse drummers. Like you'd see live footage of both those guys, and they pummeled the shit out of a drum kit. And it came across on studio albums. But then after Email left, like I don't remember the next guy's name after that, but he was more like a flutter like studio drummer type, and you could hear it on the albums. Like it sounded very digital. It sounded like a guy that just does finger flutters, and like there's no power in the drumming. But the guy they have now, like he's kind of back to that powerhouse style of drumming. So
Yeah, it's pretty
so
serious.
Simon, I can't remember his last name. Bloodhammer. Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, Jeff, I've got a lot. PT between PT and Steven Wilson's probably pretty close too. But I mean, I think there's so many records. I'll just show real quick for Rick. This is what I'm talking about. These are the bootlegs I made when I was like a lot younger for all these live shows, and they actually look like actual releases. Even though I just made them myself with artwork that I found on. Because I was kind of a stupid freak fanboy at the time, and I had like in those days, like when I download all these like bootlegs, I was like, oh, I got to make CDs out of them. So I did. So that's
shit. Those look killer, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, like back in the day when I just had a lot of time and I'd just be I had like the CD program on my computer. I can make the artwork, make the booklets.
Yeah.
These actually have booklets and everything. 2 CD, 5. I don't ever listen to any of these, but it was just something that I got bored and started doing like years ago. So if you're asking,
awesome.
Rick, yeah, if you're, do bootlegs count? Well, in this case, they kind of do. So this is like half of my Opeth CD collection is these stupid ass bootlegs. So but I kept them for sure because I put some work into them. So
that's amazing.
All right, Dev, what about you, man?
This is probably a boring answer, but fuck it.
No.
Just
not boring at all.
This is a live record from 2005. So
that's the live one. Yeah.
What album was that with the terrible cover? It was for Dance of Death. So yeah. Unfortunately, they have some Blaze Bailey songs on here, but oh well, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see that one again. Yeah. Let's see the cover again. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes like if for having such great artwork that they've had before, like sometimes but yeah, I would say Dance of Death is probably the worst.
Yeah.
That album cover, man. My God.
So, I mean, none of them are as bad as like the most recent Megadeth cover arts though. So absolutely
I don't know, dude. That Dance of Death cover is pretty
fucking
bad. Atrocious.
Yeah.
But that was that time frame though. Like there was that was 2005.
Yeah.
That one came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still trying to figure out like 3D art and Photoshop and shit.
Yeah. All right, show an album. Did we go through RSU? Sorry, did I miss you on that one, Tyler? Oh no, you said Marduk. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I had the Marduk.
Okay, we had everybody. Okay. So show an album that you blind bought in 2023. I picked a couple here, and the first one, both of these I need to like sort of revisit because I kind of forgot that I had them. Where are they at? I got this Gorment, The Unending Quest. I'd never heard this before. It's kind of known as the classic I think these guys are Finnish, I think.
Swedish.
Or they're Swedish. Okay, classic Swedish death doom kind of stuff from the '90s, and just missed out on this one and blind bought it, and it's good stuff. Kind of need to revisit it. And more recently, this was definitely last year, but based off of kind of digging some of the more ambient shit that like Blood Incantation is doing, and like talking to Jeff actually turned me on to picking up this Tangerine Dream box set that I found for like, I think it was like, oh no, it was about $16. I still got the tag on there, but it's like the four. It's all the Virgin Records albums, Virgin years, 1974 through 1978. So it's got Phaedra, Rubicon, Stratosphere, and Cyclone, and a bunch of bonus tracks. 3 CD set. Another one I kind of need to revisit, but like I occasionally love listening to ambient shit like while I'm working and stuff like that. And this one I bought it and like listened to some of it, and I never got around to the rest of it. And winded up digging it, not as much as I think Jeff digs these guys, or like the Blood Incantation guys, or all the ambient guys that do stuff are influenced by Tangerine Dream. But yeah, I literally saw this at the record shop and I was like, picked it up, and yeah. So,
I'm up.
What about you, Ty?
Well, I had one for sure, and then I had a second blind purchase that just showed up literally today, that I haven't listened to yet. So, but anyway, this first one, French band called Effernet Silences, and I think this came out 2022. Vendetta Records. So French black metal. Actually, I don't remember. I was buying something off the Vendetta website, and I was like, that looks cool. And it was like they had it on sale, so I was like, fuck it, I'll throw it in the cart. Hope it doesn't suck. And it turns out it doesn't suck. It's actually really damn good French black metal. I think the best way I could describe it is, where most of your French black metal bands, like a lot of them seem to be like, they're just really tight, really, precise musicianship, really tight guitars, really tight drums. This is like, it's intense. So don't get me wrong. This is still like a very intense black metal album, but there's a looseness to it that actually allows the music to breathe that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed a lot. So a little different than their peers, like where they just, pummel riffs and, blast beats down your throat, on every song. Like there's space. They actually allow some space to form around the music. But yeah, Effernet Silences. And then the second one, I don't dick all about this. I bought it on the website. No, I bought the new Abigor album.
Oh, you did?
Enough. Yeah, I actually liked it well enough I felt the need to buy it. But as I was going through that site, this caught my eye. A band called Corp. And the best I could tell you is it's Swedish black metal. Couldn't find any samples. Have no clue what it sounds like. Once again, I hope it doesn't suck, but it was cheap. It was on a clearance section on the website. So if it's not great, I didn't spend a lot of money on it. But yeah, literally just showed up today with a pile of other stuff along with the Abigor album. So I'm kind of excited to check this out. Probably after we're done with the stream, I'm gonna pop it on and check it out.
So the first band you showed, would you say they like Darkenhold, if you know them?
Yeah, maybe. But I really didn't have a band to compare them to when I listened to it. Because like I said, it's intense, but it's not tight. Like I don't know how else to really describe it. And when I say it's not tight, I don't mean that they're sloppy musicians and they're just like, they don't sound like they're drunk and like trying to record a black metal album, but there's just, I don't know, it's intense, but they're playing in a more relaxed manner. So it's not like Sunopfer where it's like, 1 minute song has like 400,000 notes like smashed out on a fretboard. Like that's a little more, like I said, the music just breathes. It just, There's a little more ebb and flow, but it's really good. And it's on Vendetta, so that shouldn't be a surprise that it's good stuff. They typically don't release bad bands. Yeah, you're not wrong, dude. That was years ago when I used to buy like eBay lots. Someone was selling just a pile of just dank ass CDs for get like 20 of them for like $10 or something like that. And yeah, like 3/4 of them would end up just being absolute trash, but you'd find some gems though.
All right, Dev, what'd you pick?
Alrighty, so this was a random selection I saw on eBay. And it was super cheap. I thought the artwork was cool, so I bought it and I really dig it. I put the name of it in the chat, so this is Draconis Overloads of the Grain Dawn.
Oh, dude, that takes me back, bro. That's a fucking killer album.
US black metal, but to me, this sounds like the first Thy Primordial mixed with Dissection, I guess.
Yeah.
So it could have been like a 1997 Swedish Napalm Records release easily, but yeah, good shit.
No, that's killer. And then the album, they had like one or two other albums that were also really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that takes me back. I used to have that one. I don't know what happened to my copy. It probably got lost in a move or let a friend borrow it and never got it back kind of thing. But anyway, I will be right back.
Cool, man. No, I don't know that one either. I'll check that one out, Dev. All right, so show a title that you own on more than one format. I've got a few of them here. I just picked one, but I've got a few that I have on different formats, or all three at least. But I had to go with my favorite Gorguts record, which is The Erosion of Sanity. I also have on my original cassette tape. I bought this in Orlando, Florida on a band trip in my high school years when it first came out, and loved the band at the time. It's one of the many of my cassette collection that I still own today. Got that and the CD as well. This was the Metal Mind. So I had the cassette tape, and then the Metal Mind re-release came out, I think, in like 2006 or 7 or something like that, and bought that. And then what the hell, I had to get the vinyl as well. This is the listenable pressing, and it's not that great. The artwork is washed out. It looks not good, but I wish somebody would properly repress this absolute death metal classic of a record. But as far as Gorguts goes, I mean, this is the cake for me. It's really just like the between worlds as far as Gorguts goes. Even though it's their second record, it's there's just an undeniable groove to this record, even though it also hints at the weird obscureness that would come on the next record. It's like they had that Suffocation style groove, but also made it kind of weird as well. I think the drummer on this guy, who was also the drummer on the first record, this is a severely underrated drum performance on this record. So good, especially in the track Condemned to Obscurity. That intro to that song is an incredible drum piece that I'm still not really sure, as a former drummer, still trying to envision how he's, the physicality behind the bell hits and the way that it's kind of a jazzy kind of thing. I don't know, but it's just so good. But Gorguts, but I always loved the original cassette tape, and the artwork is also some of my favorite with the original logo. So, yep, Gorguts. What about you, Tyler? I'm curious to see what you have, if you actually have anything on more than one format.
I do, but it was my own project. Rubizol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Zane, when he was doing the Sacrificial Sounds label, he put out the cassette, and then he sent us copies of the cassette. So yeah, I still have unopened copies of the first EP. Look at that. But yeah, this is literally the only thing. Now I have other albums I have multiple copies of, but they're all the same format. reissues and whatever. But yeah, this is the only one I have that's a legit 2 different formats.
Cool. What about you, Dev?
Let's do an early 90s black metal classic.
Yes.
So let's show the tape first. This is an OG press tape. I'm not cool enough to have an OG at this one, but this is a Flogo Records press. So Blood Ritual is my favorite, but their first 3 records are all essential, if you ask me.
Hell yeah.
So what made you decide to get them on tape and vinyl?
I already had this one, and there was a cheap tape box set from Flogo that they did the first 3, so I decided to do that too. And then this one's on a cool.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, the vinyl, that's got like the
30.
spot gloss on there too, or the
Just awesome.
sorry, not the
Yeah.
spot gloss, the hot
The
foil
foil.
stamping. I mean,
Hot
yeah.
foil, yeah.
Yeah, you can feel this. The Osmos 2016 reissue. Yep.
Nice.
I love it when they do the hot foil stamping like that. Every now and then, $20 Spin does that sometimes with some of their more recent releases. But yeah, that's tight. All right, moving right along. Bookworm. Show off a release conceptually inspired by literature. Cool. This is a fun one, actually. And a lot we could have picked on this one, but I went with the last Ahab record, The Boats of the Glen Carrig. And so this is inspired by I guess you could call it a short story that was written in the early 1900s. And I'm going to have to pull it up on my phone again. If you've not heard of The Boats of the Glen Carrig, it was written in 1907, or actually published in 1907, by an English writer named William Hope Hodgson. And this guy is very similar to Lovecraft in a way. He's like the nautical version of Lovecraft, and just weird but archaic kind of literature. I tried to read the story, and it's not easy at all to understand because it was written so long ago, and just the as I said, the archaic style of writing that he employs is just not easy to digest. But Ahab, it was the perfect concept for a band like Ahab, who is a nautical doom death type band. And as we know, like a lot of their early records are more like, Moby Dick, or what are some of the other ones that I think, the newest one, the Coral Tombs, that's kind of more 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but they do a good job of really kind of using those concepts to their advantage, and kind of especially propelling their music, because they are very much a forward-thinking type of band in terms of, their early stuff is very just rough death doom kind of shit, but they sort of progressed into this more melodic and kind of progressive band, I guess. But I've pretty much liked everything they did, but I think this is a nice balance between like the early death doom and where they would go next with their sound. And it's really cool. Like, all the artwork is awesome. Like, and I would suggest, if you were interested in it and you're into like Lovecraft, you would go look up The Boats of the Glen Carrig. Just go read the description on Wikipedia. But like, just a lot of the artwork is all reminiscent of the text, and all the songs like The Weed Men and The Red Foam, The Great Storm, The Thing That Made Search. I mean, this is about basically like a bunch of seafarers that land on this island in the middle of nowhere, and they don't know where they are, and they encounter all of these sea creatures, and it's kind of really all I got out of it, to be honest with you. It's, I think there's a lot more deeper themes going on in the text, but in terms of, there's a lot of, that's one of the things I love about metal music and a lot of metal artists, is that you can draw upon old literature like this and use it as sort of a escapist kind of thing. Obviously there's so many bands that do the Lovecraft thing, so it was cool that Ahab really kind of reached back into something that was lesser known and more obscure, like the Boats of the Glencarrig. So yeah, but great record and really interesting source material, if you will. So what about you, Ty?
So I have a couple of picks here. One of them is real. I mean, if you listen to black metal, like, how many of them are inspired by Tolkien, right? And this is probably my favorite of the Tolkien-inspired summoning style type of black metal bands. The Udar. I'm really hoping these guys just dropped those big synth songs, dungeon synth songs recently, but I hope for another metal album soon. So I'm thinking of these guys, and then I got to thinking about kind of late 90s, early 2000s Swedish melodic black metal band Azure. And while they're not specifically, it's not specifically based on a specific book, but these two, kind of like the Valdrin album, these two albums are part of a story, right? But the main guy in the band, and I actually collaborated with him on something years ago that it never came to fruition. Long story. But his main inspirations include the likes of Robert Jordan, Tolkien, Terry Brooks, Keith Parkinson, et cetera, like, big, dense fantasy novelists. And then that's what these are. These are fantasy novel style lyrics based around some very intense and hyper melodic Swedish black metal.
That Urdal man, you sold me on that one. And anybody that likes summoning and stuff like that, man, that's a record that kind of is under the radar, and it's really good. Urdal. Where are those guys from again? They're from
Norway.
That's right. No.
But yeah, they're very good. Instead of like synths dominating everything, like it's the guitars that carry the melodies, which I think is fucking awesome. No, Rick, I'm getting over a real bad cold, so I'm drinking other fluids instead.
All right, Dev, what'd you pick for this one? Oh, for sure.
Lord of the Rings themed. I have to be in the mood for this album because it's 22 songs, which is kind of a stretch sometimes, but because in between every song there's like an interlude, so kind of adds to the story. But yeah, this is honestly their last record I like until the newest one. But yeah, good record, but I still prefer the first four. Yeah, so that's Blind Guardian, Nightfall, and Middle Earth. So obviously Lord of the Ring and Tolkien themed.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
classic.
That's the album that got me into Blind Guardian, honestly. I mean, even though I love the early stuff even better, but I love that one. That one's that's where they really kind of blew their load in terms of like their orchestrations and stuff, and then they just took it way too far. Dev, are you gonna go see them play? Are they coming to LA on this run?
I'm not sure. No plans to go see them, but who knows?
I've already got my ticket for Denver in May. Never seen them and cannot wait. One of my favorite bands. Yeah. They've always been, some of their early stuff is kind of just, I don't know if they even really had a lot of source material from Tolkien until Nightfall, Middle Earth. I mean, there was some stuff for sure, like in the early records, but it kind of just was more just overall fantasy influenced until they took, the Tolkien stuff and Nightfall, Middle Earth. That's all the Silmarillion. It's not really Lord of the Rings. It's all about the first age, pretty much. First and second, well, some of the second age, but I don't know. I got my Tolkien history is a bit, not the best, so I couldn't tell you exactly. I know it a lot of it is around Feanor and the Silmarils and Morgoth. I'm pretty sure that's like towards the end of the first age. But You know, they didn't really, they weren't a band that really like always had to use Tolkien as a source. Like they could, you know, even later records, I think they kind of moved away from it a bit, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I mean, like it's funny how many bands can, you know, it's like between Tolkien, Lovecraft, I'm sure there's a couple others. There's just like so many bands that like will take those as influences and, you know, make it their own.
Bram Stoker, your vampiric black metal bands, especially like the 1990s ones that were real heavy in those vampire themes.
Jimmy, I'm surprised you didn't go with this.
You know, I came close to picking that one. Yeah. I mean, because that's, you know, and interestingly about that record and about Amorphous is, you know, the Kalevala was a huge influence on Tolkien. I mean, that is the reason why Tolkien wanted to develop a history of England, I'm sorry, a mythology of England, was because of the Kalevala, and that was highly influential in all of his writing and all his like weird, like, you know, developing the languages and things like that. You know, it was the Kalevala. He was like, well, if the Greeks have their, you know, the Greek mythology, the Finns have the Kalevala, you know, the Brits have to have Middle Earth, right? So, but I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's funny because like Amorphous is the one band that like every single record is based off the Kalevala. I mean, and they're still doing it, you know.
Well, the very first album was based on like, it was more historical battles. It wasn't the Kalevala. It was some like significant historical battles.
Well, you can even tell by the album cover too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Corellian Isthmus. Yeah. That album was so good.
Oh, that's class. Both of those, that one and Thousand Lakes, are just unreal. What's going on, Eric? How you doing, buddy? All right. So before we get too further into the Tolkien talk, so we got that right. We got the bookworms are done. Name a band that you would travel a considerable distance to see live in 2023. I'm sorry, I am not doing a very good job of keeping my stack ready to go. But because and we already talked about this, but because we missed this band at Death Fest last year, and they're playing at Death Fest this year, I would really love to see these guys play. As far as like early death metal and my younger years, this is probably my favorite record of those years is Like an Ever-Flowing Stream. And this is the new repress. You know, Nuclear Blast just repressed everything, which finally, because they really needed it, got a cool splatter kind of deal.
Nice.
And yeah, man. I mean, if I would certainly. I mean, there's many bands I'd love to see at Metal Fest, Death Fest this year, but this would be one of the big draws for me, as it was the last Death Fest until they canceled because they didn't have. I guess their visas didn't get approved because they weren't vaccinated or something like that. But you know, I mean, like, I don't see them doing a U.S. tour anytime soon. So I would certainly, if I could make it work, would be going to Death Fest to go see Dismember, because they're just one of those bands just from my, you know, long history of metal that I've never seen and may not ever get to see. I mean, you know, there's talk that they're going to do a new record, so who knows? Maybe there's some hope that they'll, you know, do like a proper U.S. tour or something, but I don't know. So, what about you, Ty?
You know, because it's so hard for me to get out of Alaska. It's hard to travel out of Alaska unless you just have a shit ton of money. Because airfare is not cheap from here. Like, everywhere I go is going to be some major expense. So what I want to do with this question instead is, if it was something that, you know, if I was able to kind of turn back time, as it were, there's two bands I could have seen in 2019, but the finances thing reared its ugly head, and I just wasn't able to pull the trigger on an international trip with my old Rubizol bandmate. But he got to go to the Metal East Festival in 2019, and both these bands played.
Oh,
Ig, and Hate Forest both played that festival. And that was the main drawing point. That's why he wanted to go so bad. Because, Hate Forest, they don't play live shows at all. And IG, that was one of their last shows. Because The Last Scald is the last album, and they're not doing shows anymore. But, yeah, Hate Forest, there was a one-off show that they did for that festival. And all their proceeds that they got from the show, they donated to like a children's hospital or something like that. Or being Roman's a teacher, man, I think it was a children's school. It was something to do with kids. I remember that much. But anyway, so that's my approach to this, because there's not really a lot of the bands that I really like, I don't think I'd really want to go see live, because, more often than not, black metal just doesn't, it sounds good live, but it doesn't translate well live unless they put on a real theatrical live show. And a lot of the bands I like probably aren't really going to do that. But yeah, like I said, I had an opportunity to see these two bands on stage, and I wasn't able to pull the trigger on it. So that's kind of it's a big regret of mine. So yeah, if there was an opportunity again, then I would do it. I would just say, fuck it. Go completely broke and just go for it.
For sure. All right, Devon, what about you?
So I'm not sure if they've ever actually come to the US, but if they did, I would love to see them. Moonso.
Oh, me too.
Oh.
Funny,
Hell
Tyler
yeah.
mentioned a band, a cover of Metallica. They do For Whom the Bell Tolls and make it like a super epic, like chanty Viking song, which is fucking awesome. Yeah,
Dude, that shit cracks me up. There was like, it's an EP, but it's 45 fucking minutes long.
yeah, I know, right?
Well,
It's like
that
4
one
songs.
song. It's like that one song's like 25 minutes, I think. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say there's only like 3 or 4 songs, I think, but it's still a 45-minute recording.
Well, this album's 56 minutes and it's 2
It's
songs.
2 tracks. Yep.
That's probably my favorite one. I don't know. It's between that one and the previous 2. All 3 of those are.
I mean, they don't have a bad record though.
Yeah, Sunanuni and Kevin Kintaha are probably my 2 favorites.
And what's the other one? So that one's Haveti, right? And then there's one before that, Kavarasit, I think. That one's fucking really good, and that one's long as hell too.
This one?
No,
that's and that one's good too. No, the one
that's a Voimasta Kuyasta or whatever.
It's no, that one's great. That
Kevin Kintaha.
Do you mean the debut?
The next one. I think it's Veresiket or Veresikete or something like that.
Shit.
You got the same
There we
CD
go.
box that I got. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
That one's killer. It's long as hell, but every song is good though.
Yeah. And because me and Tyler were talking about them the other day, I want a Mythitin reunion. God damn it, that'd be awesome too.
Dude,
That probably won't happen.
no, I think as close as we'll ever get to. I'm probably not pronouncing them right, but I'm giving it the good college try anyway. But no, he's right, man. Like if Mythitin did a reunion, man, that'd be killer. I think as close as we're gonna get though is King of Asgard. That's about as close as we're gonna get to Mythitin style music. And that is one of the main guys from Mythitin that fronts that band.
All right, so Soured Grapes show a 2023 release that you enthusiastically purchased but eventually lost interest in. My pick for this, I did purchase it and I already sold it. So I oftentimes like when I buy vinyl, I have a Discogs page where if it's something that I don't like, I might just jump on because I'm impulsive, and then I decide later like I don't really need this on vinyl. I end up selling a lot of stuff because I just end up cycling through things. But so I don't have the copy of it anymore. And I'm kind of remiss to say this because I do love this band a lot. But the new Bell Witch this past year, the Clandestine Gate, I pre-ordered it on vinyl before I heard anything. I really enjoyed the last 2 records, obviously the Mirror Reaper and Four Phantoms. I think those are both really good records. This is a band that is not an easy listen by any means, and I think I don't know. They just take a lot of. You really do have to be in the mood for them. And I did have the opportunity to see them play live as well. They did a good bit of the Mirror Reaper record, and if you really want to understand what Bell Witch does, you have to see them play live because it's quite amazing. Just a bass player and a drummer, and the drummer, they both do vocals. The drummer's got all kinds of other stuff. Like he's got like all these foot pedals that like hook up to like, MIDIs or synths or whatever they are to kind of add to the atmosphere of the music. And I didn't know what it is, but the Clandestine Gates, I thought it was good. I just felt like it was just more the same of what I've already heard from the band. It was kind of just like, if you like Mirror Reaper, if you like Four Phantoms, you will certainly like this. And I did not, not like it, but I listened to it a couple times and I just kind of like lost interest a bit, and realized that I'm rarely, as much as I do really dig Bell Witch, I just never really am in the mood. And also because they're not the type of band that you're going to put one song on, and move on or have it in, a shuffle. It's because their songs are really the entire record, and the entire record's going to be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So you do want to kind of devote yourself to sitting through the whole thing, because I think that's the way that they are, they mean for it to be listened to. And so that's why they're just it's a challenging band, and I appreciate them for that. But the Clandestine Gate didn't quite it just kind of felt to me like I may as well just go back and listen to Mirror Reaper. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but I decided I definitely didn't need the vinyl, because with a Bell Witch vinyl, obviously it's going to be 2 LPs and you're going to have to flip it. And maybe that kind of stops the vibe a bit. I'd almost rather have it on CD so I could just put it on, from start to finish. But it was a record that I was very excited about. And just kind of after I had purchased it, like every time I would go look at my new vinyl to listen to, it would be like the last thing I'd want to spin. And I don't know why that is. It just wasn't feeling the vibe of them this time. So I don't know, but maybe that'll change later when I get around to giving it some more time. But it just didn't, it just felt like the same thing. It felt like a retread of what they had already done so well. So I don't know, but yeah. So what about you, Ty?
So I picked this up last year. Ember Body release. Hagatis. What was it called? Curse to the Night. So I was really pumped on this because this is actually one half of the band Douthus, who's one of my absolute favorite black metal bands currently. So it's not Grimwald. It's not the guy behind Winternaut and all those other bands. It's the other guy, the Smegaroth. And I heard the preview track. I was like, it's good. I expect the album, there'll probably be some real gems on it. Come to find out that one song was kind of representative of the album. This was mundane as shit. Super boring. All the songs kind of sounded the same. There was just no pizzazz. I was kind of a guy being involved with a band like Douthus. I was expecting a little more substance, I guess. A little more oomph with the riff writing. So listening to this kind of made me realize who the true creative force is of Douthus, unfortunately. And yeah, I was vastly disappointed when I put this on and gave it a spin when I got it. And I was just like, shit, this is a wasted purchase. Big time bummed on that one.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's going to happen a lot,
Yeah. Well, like I said, the only, I think maybe my expectations were probably a little high. Like if I didn't know that anybody was involved in that band, I'd be like, oh, that was a pretty solid release. But because Douthus, I hold that band in such high regard. Like I was expecting a lot more from that particular release.
Yeah. All right, Devon, what did you pick that you got sick of?
So this record I thought was pretty decent at first. I listened to it a few times. I bought the CD, and then after like 7 months, I didn't play it again, so I traded it to a friend of mine. They're called Leper Colony. They're from Germany, which the reason I bought this is because it has Mark, who is from in Morgoth on vocals, which I really like his vocals in the early Morgoth stuff, but after a while, I'm like, this is kind of generic and not very good, so I ended up selling it. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably not a whole lot of bands you can say this about,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it always sucks, especially like when there's a name attached to the band. You're like, oh shit, like I need to hear this, like, or I need to get it, and then then you get it, and you're just like, oh, I see why they attach the name. Try to get people to buy into it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Golden Child. Name an artist that you feel can do no wrong. This was pretty much an easy pick for me. For me, it's Devon Townsend. I don't feel like Devi can really do me any wrong. And, and that's not to say the reason why I picked him was because, like, I don't like everything he does. I mean, there's definitely quite a few albums he's done that I'm not really into, but I say that he can't do any wrong because I just know that whatever he does, I know that he's going to do it from his heart and he's going to do it from a place that is honest. Like even if I don't like it, like he did this thing like a year or two ago called The Puzzle. I don't even think I listened to it because I knew exactly what it was going to be. It was just going to be a bunch of fucking nonsense. And maybe I'm wrong about that because I really didn't actually. I think I listened to like a little clip of it. And but I know that like whenever he puts something out, like there's a reason why he does it. Like he doesn't just like half-ass something or just put it out just to put it out. If he would, he would continue doing Strapping Young Lad, and it probably wouldn't be nearly as good as it once was. I mean, I understand why he doesn't do Strapping anymore, and it sucks. And but I'm happy with what they did. I mean, that was a great band, and it had its time. And Devon Townsend is very much about now that he's gotten older and sober and all those kind of things, and figured out his own psychosis. Like he is always going to deliver something that is from an honest place. And that's why I would say that, even if I don't like everything he does, I still feel like he can't do any wrong. And his most recent release, Light Work, I really loved. I mean, this was just a classic Devon Townsend record. If you're into like his more like earlier solo stuff, this kind of like fit the bill after he, completely went nuts on, what was it, Empath, I think it was. Kind of just stripped it down and just made a really great melodic, awesome record, so yep. Devi, whether you love it or hate it, I'm always going to love him,
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Tyler?
So I couldn't decide between these two particular artists. So one of them, kind of wish Russ was here so he could help me pronounce that. So the guy behind this project, I'm not going to try to pronounce this one.
I think it's the Druzy Viator, something like that.
Something like that. So W, as he just goes by. So he has this. He has Alkals. He has Stwars. There's another band that he has. I have one of the CDs of that's also good. Like I haven't heard anything that this guy has been involved with that's been actually bad or unenjoyable. But same thing can be said about, speaking of Douthus. So the guy behind this project, Winternaut, he has this, Douthus, Easgalder, and they're all just absolutely fantastic. And once again, I haven't heard a bad recording or a bad album from either one of these specific musicians and artists. So, yeah, those two are my go-to. W and Grimwald.
Yeah, and like Stores has like 12 releases, something like that. Got a lot more
I
stuff
mean-
than Vidrusi Viator.
Yeah. Oh, that's the majority of what he has. But I'm just saying, like, everything that I've heard from him that's got his name attached to it has always been good. So, yeah.
Cool.
And like I said, like the whole, that the last album I was very disappointed by. Like, I understood then and there who carries the most of the creative clout in Doubt now. So,
Yeah.
now I know.
Mhm. All right, Devon, who can do no wrong in your world, brother?
So I've done a video on this topic, so not choose any of those bands. I almost went with Dan Swano, but there's like one or two projects I haven't heard yet. So, but of what I've heard, it's all been awesome. But this might be an unpopular opinion for this band, but I chose Asphyx. People seem to ignore the era of the band. I'm not sure why, because it has no Martin, but be it the early stuff with Martin, the early stuff without him, the modern stuff, it's all great. So yeah. This is one of my favorite records by them. This came out in, I think, 95, I want to say. But yeah, good record. This is probably their fastest album because they definitely had, like, their least doomy one. But yeah, so that is Asphyx for that.
Fuck, I don't even think I've heard that one. I know The Rack. I mean, that's like the early one that I know the best. I really liked it. Yeah. That what was that record, Death Hammer? That one was fucking really good.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. I love it.
Down to the Death Hammer.
I love the cover art on that too. You can't really see it too well, but that one, and I haven't even heard I think what was the most recent one? Was that Necro something? Necroros or something?
This one.
Yeah. I don't even think I've heard that one.
I almost picked Enslaved, but that seemed too obvious for me, so I would have been kind of boring.
That's a band I need to go down. Yeah, Nightingale. Did you have that one, Dev?
I've heard it. I haven't bought it yet, but yeah, that's good
Swano.
stuff.
I think that's Swano, and I think that's him and his brother, isn't it? I think.
I don't remember. I think so.
It's not. I don't even think it's metal. I think it's like gothic rock or something like
Although
that.
my favorite side project by him, he just did the drums, but it was this fucking masterpiece.
Oh man, Diabolical Masquerade.
Oh,
dude, like yeah.
I wish they were still a band.
Yeah, that and Nightwork, man.
Oh yeah,
those albums are essential.
I like his solo record. That's probably my favorite thing. Was Moon Tower. Man, I fucking love that one.
Yeah.
And then he did a more recent band called Witherscape, which is really good stuff too.
Yeah, which is the one of him doing like Opeth Worship, which is that
it's kind of like it's kind of like if you took Edge of Sanity and made it more like a Soilwork type band or something, you know. But it's good. But it's good though. It's really good shit. And I like Soilwork too. But so not as popular as they once were. But all right, Overstayed Welcome. Name a band that you wish would have quit when they were ahead.
Ooh. All right, I'm gonna grab a CD of an artist. So I will hold that thought.
For that, yeah. Well, this was a pretty easy one for me, and I'm curious to see, Devon, if you picked this one as well. Let's see, where is it at? Yeah, man.
Let's see.
I mean, Morbid Angel, man. I mean, unfortunately, these guys' best years are way behind them.
So I saw them in 2019. Those songs are a lot better live.
Really?
That album sounds like shit. If it sounded better, I think it would be a better record.
I think this is an okay record. It's just, I don't know, it's just long and boring. I felt, you know, like after it got over like the initial, like, okay, cool, they're back, they're doing death metal, and they've got Steve Tucker, which I love because I love the Steve Tucker era. You know,
was that Morbid Angel?
Yeah, I mean, so I think I can easily say this band because they just haven't done anything since Gateways to Annihilation is really the last record that I loved. Heretic was okay. It had some stuff on there that was all right, but honestly, that was kind of the beginning. And then, you know, obviously the album that won't be named, even though that record had a couple good songs on it, it was just kind of a mess. And they just never really kind of figured it out. You know, they got Dave Vincent back, and they were kind of doing. I got to see them live when Vincent was back in the band, and it was killer. That was like right before Commando left, and they got Tim Young on drums. But you know, it's never really rebounded from you know, the greatness of this band. You know, because I mean, you just can't deny. I can't deny every record through Gateways is you know, a classic, fantastic. Some of the best death metal riffs ever. And going into this record, I mean, the artwork is shitty. It's just so uninspired and dull to me. And again, it's just like when you start listening to it, it's like it's kind of cool, but goddamn, it's just long and fucking boring, man. Like the riffs are just not there for me. I don't know. And I mean, it sounds great, but
I think Trey has legit mental issues going on right now.
Yeah.
And that isn't he battling like alcoholism, like something fierce?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's got some kind of issue. I don't know exactly.
I think he has Asperger's.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's always been a thing though. Like, I mean, shit. Look at the old Morbid Angel albums. Like, so everyone else has like their thank you list, and they're like, "Yeah, I want to thank my mom, my girlfriend, like my brothers in Morbid Angel, blah 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 blah." And then Trey goes on like 16 paragraphs about every video game that he's ever played ever, and like every video game music composer ever. Like,
yeah, he's always been kind of a weird bird, you know. But like, man, you can't deny some of the shit he's done.
No.
But Kingdom's disdained, man. I don't know. I just don't see them rebounding at this point. I hope I'm wrong, but and if they don't, then. And it's just kind of a mess too, because now you've got David Vincent doing "I Am Morbid" and now he's got, you know,
yeah, he got Pete Sandoval.
Pete's back
on
with
drums.
him.
Yeah,
and then you've got, you know, the Morbid Angel era, which is you know, Trey and Steve Tucker, who I love, and then a couple other guys, and it's just kind of a mess. I don't know. It's like,
yeah.
If you're just going to keep playing live and maybe put out another record, hopefully they have something in them to kind of come back, but I just don't see it. So
I mean, it kind of works out though that there's the two projects, because I'm assuming it's still a thing. I know the first time, fuck dude, fuck that game. I feel you, brother. You know, when Steve Tucker was in the band the first time, they wouldn't play any of the David Vincent stuff. They would only play Steve Tucker Morbid Angel songs.
Because I think David like had some copyright bullshit, so they couldn't.
Is that what it was? Because I know there was an interview and Tucker just basically said that, yeah, we won't play the Vincent era stuff.
Well, they pushed them when I
like
saw them. But...
Oh, well. Well, then, never mind.
All right, what about you, Tyler?
All right, well, since Logan's watching, this one's for him. This is a band that should have stopped early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Fucking Manowar, dude.
Yeah.
Logan just posted about this album the other day. This is my favorite Manowar album, by the way. Fucking amazing album. But man, no, Warriors of the World, that was like the last, like, I would say like legit good album of theirs, even though it was kind of a pop album, all in all. But the production was still good. There were still some banging songs on there. Like the title track is your classic Manowar anthem. And then from that point on, fucking Joey DeMaio feels like he's, the second coming of Beethoven. And hell yeah, brother. Joey DeMaio, like he just got stuck on this thing where he's like a classical, he thinks he's like this classical music genius, and he's trying to do like these big operatic things. And man, like God of War was boring as fuck. Any of the EPs surrounding that has been boring as hell. And then if you want a good laugh, you should go to the Metal Archives page and look at the last couple EPs that they put out and the last couple singles, and zero score, like 3%, 0%. And people were like, fucking hang it up, be done. I know they're supposed to be playing like their final shows, but there was one of the EPs they put out. It was like I can't remember what it was. they were supposed to be doing a whole concept album about Odysseus, the Odyssey, and and this EP is literally excerpts. Like they weren't even full songs; they were just excerpts from this album that's yet to be completed, and at this point, probably will never be completed. They should have stopped a long time ago. And what really sucks is the last few albums up to Warriors of the World were good albums until their guitar player on those albums got busted and went to jail for being a specific kind of pervert. So that kind of sucked.
Yeah, that was weird.
So there's a lot of shit, man. Like they should have, the signs were there. They should have hung it up a long time ago before Joey got in his head that he was the second coming of Beethoven. Oh yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I was thinking about this earlier. It's like, Manowar, like you go to your grocery store, like I don't know if you guys have like Kroger, Fred Meyer's, or whatever, and you have your fancy cheese section. That's a descriptor of Manowar. It's like it's fancy cheese, but more often than not, it's enjoyable to a point. But the last however many albums, no. They should have, like I said, they should have hung this up like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah, Looking Glass. I didn't know they played in the States, man. That was probably before I became a fan of the band. But yeah, if they ever come back, that would be a band I would travel for. Sorrow. Yeah. Okay. Dev. So what did you pick, man?
Time to make Logan sad, I think.
I don't disagree with you there.
This is the last album I care about, which even on this one, you can kind of tell they're going in a bad direction because Graveyard Slut. Once they started doing the drunken yell at the bar vocals, I'm out, dude. This came out in 2006. Everything before this is awesome. This one, you could tell they're going in a downward direction. And after this, no bueno. Yeah. That would have been a good run the first, 10, 11, but what they've done since pretty much sucks.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I've had a hard time getting into the latter era of Darkthrone, but I mean,
yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's kind of divided. A lot of people really like the later day Darkthrone.
Well,
but
I will say this. The one thing I do like about the more recent Darkthrone stuff is Fenris and Nocturnal Culto don't give a shit what you think. They're just like, you know what? I mean, they probably call each other up. Hey man, want to go smash an album out this weekend? All right. Go get drunk and smash an album out. And then that's what they do. And then, there you go. So, I mean, in a way, you have to appreciate that that those guys have reached a point where, I mean, they could probably just take turns farting and barfing into a microphone, and Peace Bill or whoever will be like, yes, we will release this.
Oh yeah, well, Peace Bill knows people will buy it for sure.
Yeah, as I said, the last 5 albums, people keep saying, "Oh, I'm done with Darkthrone, no more." No one comes like, "Ooh, new shiny toy, look over there."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done. Ooh, another new one. I'm gonna go buy it. Oh, I'm actually done this time.
Yep.
I mean, I personally always struggled with Darkthrone, even and I love the first 4 or 5 records. I mean, I want to say I love them, but I very much appreciate them, and I've come to terms with them, which took me a long time to do. As much as I it's interesting for me because there's certain bands that I love certain, Neurosis is another example. I love so many bands that are influenced by Neurosis, but I cannot for the life of me get into them at all. I've tried many times over the years and I just cannot get into Neurosis. I've seen them play 3 times because I've got friends that just swear by them, love them. And, I've tried and I've just finally came to terms with the fact that they're just not for me, even though it's weird because there's bands that are heavily influenced by the Neurosis that I really love, and same thing goes with Darkthrone is that it took me a while to really find that appreciation for those early records. So as a result, I never really felt compelled to really check out their later era because I knew that it wasn't really more in the black metal. They kind of went in a different direction that probably wasn't going to be for me anyway. So I just never even really bothered with it. You know what I mean? But that's just me.
Honestly, I hated the post Panda Fast stuff till like 2 months ago.
Oh, so it started growing on you?
Yeah, but I only used to like up to Panzer Fast, and then recently I like up to that, and after that, no.
Now we just gotta wait another 2 years, and then you'd be like, "Oh, I grew on me."
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I will say, Logan, I did see Steve Von Till do a solo set, and I really loved his solo stuff. A lot more than I am into Neurosis. His solo shit was really killer. Arctic Thunder, yeah. I don't know. I've heard all these latest ones were, I've not even checked these out, but that's one that a lot of people really liked, and a lot of people said were awful. So I don't know. Yeah. I think they've always been crusty though, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, I think Rick missed it. Look, Rick, I opened up my beer fridge. I got
Well, you had all the fluids, so now it's going to be kind of watered down once it goes down,
Yeah.
It'd be fine.
And that tomorrow's Friday, so if I feel like hammered shit tomorrow, whatever, I got to make it through one day.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We're plowing through them. We're doing good here. Show a band release that you bought in 2023 as a direct result of watching someone's YouTube channel. Yeah, this one is a result of watching a few different channels. Definitely, Tyler, you were part of the inspiration for this one. But I've heard Marty talk about this record for a long time, even since before I started doing my YouTube channel. And Marty would do like some of these like black metal records that influenced me or whatever. And so I've heard a lot of people talk about this one, and I always just kind of never got around to it. I finally did now that they've repressed it, and that would be Hades Again Shall Be.
I almost picked that.
Yes.
Yeah. And this was the perfect thing because I've always seen people on YouTube talk about this and not heard about it anywhere else. I've not really, seen. Yeah. Well, you got one of the other. I think this is the new pressing that just came out on.
They repressed that one and the it's not Far Away from the Sun. It's
Dawn of the Dying Sun.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this has the Alone Walking on it as well. And
I actually just picked that one up myself. I got those reissues recently.
Yeah,
I have the OG. I have all the OG Hades albums. I actually even have the standalone Alone Walking EP. Like Wounded Love or somebody put it out, like reissued it. Like, and this is like late 90s, early 2000s when that came out. So that's one of my favorites. And actually, you know what? A lot of people, so the newest Hades stuff, I don't like at all. Have you seen that?
Aren't they Hades Almighty now?
Well, they've been Hades Almighty.
But they've been that for a while now, right?
Yeah. But they had their comeback EP and I think an album, and it's like, I don't know, it's not the same. It's just not like even the last couple of albums when they were forced to change the name to Hades Almighty, like those two albums, they still sounded like Hades. They still sounded like, real atmospheric and like real just driving mid-tempo black metal. But then this newest one, it's like real proggy and just real, it sounds very Norwegian, I guess you could say. But that though,
yeah, man. I mean, it's another album that I slept on for a long time, but wow, I really like it a lot, man. It's almost like what it kind of makes me think this was what Battery could have done if they kept doing like more black metal stuff.
Yeah.
I need to get those other ones as well, but it's just, I mean, for the classic era of this album, it's really awesome to go to, having never really been even kind of knowing about it for a long time, but having never really delved into the band. But it was a very worthwhile purchase, and I've been really digging. And wanting to go down the rest of the albums at some point when I get some time. Like between like trying to check new stuff out and just the other pile of recent albums that like I've neglected, but going back to stuff like this was really great and really worth picking up. It's classic, and really love it. Love the recommendation. So
Have you heard this?
oh yeah. No, I've got that one and the next one. Those are
I got those reissues too. But my original copy of Beyond the Wandering Moon, like, man, my old bandmate, like, he borrowed it for like a few months and he just beat the fucking tar out of it.
Yeah,
Scratched the shit out of the CD. I was pissed. So I had to buy the reissue of that.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
actually, it's funny that Devon pulled out the Eternus. I was going to say, like, I hold that Hades, the early Hades, in the same regards as like the early Eternus albums. Like, it wasn't the same as what the other bands in their scene were doing at that time.
Were they 40 each? Really?
Yeah, for the LP.
Was that one of their more recent ones? Pulse of Decay.
So yeah, when they did the name change, the first album under the name change was Millennium Nocturne, and then Pulse of Decay was the one after that. And yeah, it was Pulse of Decay. It was like, I think Marty can agree. I mean, I haven't listened to it in a while, but Pulse of Decay was a lot less pagan themed. They were kind of going to other more kind of atypical black metal themes, but it still sounded very much like the earlier Hades stuff.
Yeah, I need to check the new Eternus stuff out too. I haven't heard that.
Actually, which press was that Marty was talking about with
Dawn of a Dying Sun?
Yeah. No, he's right that I have that OG press, and I mean, I like it, but I need to get the repress of that because the audio is much better. Yeah. He's absolutely right, but it's still. I mean, you still pick out the greatness that is that album, regardless. And I've heard that on the OG Dawn of Dying Sun. I think like if you got the OG vinyl, I think that was actually like the actual sound it was supposed to be. I read that somewhere, I think. But anyway, I can talk about that band all day because I love this album. Sure.
All right, so. What'd you pick, Tyler?
Actually, we're gonna pick on Logan again. And it's not because I watched a video of his, as a video or a stream I participated in, and he turned me on to this band, Horrified.
Oh,
yeah, Horrified, Allure of the Fallen. I think these guys are from the UK, and it's like a whole mishmash of like black metal, doom metal, death metal. But it's not really melodic death metal. It's not really black and death metal. It's just, it's all of it, and it's, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but it's very, very good, very melodic, very pummeling at times, and yeah, killer. And then he also turned me on to the Crypt Sermon albums as well. So,
oh yeah, that's good.
Thank you, Logan. This is awesome. I really like this one a lot.
All right, Dev. What about you?
I like the back cover. The back cover too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That one's good, man. That Crypt Sermon.
That's I got the first two albums. I think it's the only two albums, right?
Yeah, they have two so far.
Okay. Yeah, I got both of them. I really like them a lot. So yeah, cheers, Logan.
So I don't remember who talked about this specifically, but I think it was Ben a while ago talked about this band, so turned me on to them. Classic.
The first Falkenbach.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
German black metal guy.
Germany by way of Iceland. He was originally from Iceland.
Okay. So yeah, after this, they had like two albums with basically all clean vocals, so they became like kind of like Viking metal lead, and they switched back to have more like aggressive vocals. My favorite is probably the third record, this one.
Yeah, the Oknezva T.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. No, that one's actually, you know what? Like, that's actually an artist that's an artist I could have said that does no wrong in my book. Like, I haven't disliked anything that he's ever put out.
Well, he only has 6 albums, I think, though. Right?
Yeah, I got all the reissues of those too.
Yeah, I'm missing the last
But I mean, I had all the OG ones. I actually have the OG No Colors version of the first album. But yeah, I mean, even that first album, there's clean vocals and parts, but it was very much more decidedly black metal.
Yeah.
I like Asa. Asa.
Oh,
it's
dude,
really good.
like I'm still waiting for a follow up to that. That's the last album he's put out.
Good shit, man.
Hell yeah, dude! I love Falkenbach.
All right. Show us an otherwise good album that ends up suffering from being too long. I had a few like I could pick for this, but I thought this was an interesting one, given that I don't really talk about Iron Maiden too much on my channel. But the Book of Souls. And so this is kind of a more recent, obviously they released one after this, but a lot newer Iron Maiden. And this could pretty much be said about any Iron Maiden record since, post Brave New World, and that they're all too fucking long. But honestly, I thought this was a pretty good record. In terms of, I really don't like too much of their most recent output. I think Senjutsu is boring as fuck. And also, I mean, I wouldn't even really hold it to the regard that I hold this one, because I think this is actually a really good record. There's good songs on here. If Eternity Should Fail, Speed of Light is really good. The Great Unknown's good. But then you get into the Red and the Black, which is like 15 minutes long when it should be 5 minutes long, and it's just the same fucking thing over and over again. When the River Runs Deep is good, and then from there, it goes back and forth from pretty good to not so good. Death or Glory is a good song, but a lot of these songs like Book of Souls, Tears of a Clown, Empire of the Clouds, which is like 22 minutes long, is absolutely fucking ridiculously indulgent and completely like come on guys, like you're not a fucking prog metal band, and you're not like who's the guy that does them? Kevin Shirley, I guess. Like, what is he thinking? Like, not telling these guys, you've got to fucking rein this shit in.
He's a yes man. He just does what Steve Harris wants. Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't. It's funny, but whenever they release something, because it's like all the Maiden fans are just like going fucking gaga over it, especially Senjutsu. But yeah, man, I just like. I mean, and we can't really hope for much more because these guys are really at the end of their career. They're just getting to that age, but like if they would just go back to writing 5-6 minute anthemic songs, we would all be that much happier for it. Like
I agree.
Stop with these fucking, hour and a half albums where you're just doing, the same shit over and over again, but adding to it and making it seem like you're being like progressive or something when it's just, you're just fucking, I don't know. I mean, I really don't. I don't know if that's just a self-indulgent thing or they just think that that it's really great. And I don't know, but that said, if this wasn't so long, this would have been for me. This would have been the best thing that they've put out in years, just based off the strength of the few songs that are really great on this album. Yeah. But then they did Senjutsu and put out a record that is of the same length and 2 CDs with a lot of fucking filler bullshit, and is not nearly as strong as this record. So it's unfortunate.
Admittedly, the very last Iron Maiden I can say I truly loved, because I have all the albums up to Brave New World. Actually, no, I got Dance of Death. I got the what's the one with the tank on the cover?
Matter of Life.
Yeah, that one. I like that one.
Yeah, that one's good.
That one's good. And then Dance of Death I got, and then I think that was the last one I got was Dance of Death. That came out. Did that come out before or after Matter of Life and Death?
Before. That's 2003. Matter was 2006, I think.
Okay. So yeah, that's the last one I got. But yeah, Brave New World is probably like the last Maiden album I can truly say is like a great classic Maiden album. But that was also the return of Bruce Dickinson, so they had to pull the stops out on that one.
Yeah. I mean, the Final Frontier sucked for the most part. There was like 1 or 2 songs on there that were pretty good. But yeah, I mean, this again, this had some good shit on here. It really did. But it just, God, the Red and the Black. If you really want to just torture yourself, listen to that song over and over again. It's the same fucking thing over and over again. And yeah, it's
so
funny.
lame.
But it's like one of those things that like doesn't matter. Like Darkthrone, their fans will eat this shit up no matter what. And so it's like they're egging them on to just keep doing. Yeah, just make it 2 hours next time.
I'm guilty of that. I bought Senjutsu. It fucking sucks, but I bought it for collector's purposes.
I did too. I bought the same. They did this book. The A5 kind of thing with 2 CDs. I bought the same thing I bought it the day it came out, like a schmuck. And yeah, it's got a couple good songs, and there's some decent stuff on there. But for the most part, it's just a lot of fucking.
Every song having an acoustic intro, super slow, takes 5 minutes to build anything, pisses me off. It's like, do. It's like, okay, guys.
Yeah, I don't think any of us need that, Rick. But if you're willing to like, do some of your Photoshop juju, man, and fix it up, and then maybe we'll consider it. So
Make it look more like the classic paintings and not.
I think Rick could fix
not some 3D molded art.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know how that passed the test, but it's like, go with it. Whatever. We got a billion Eddie, illustrations. Why not?
Right.
All right, Tyler, what'd you go with?
So I actually went with what ended up being one of my top picks of 2023. It was the most recent Morning Forest album. So I can't see how you pronounce this. Limon Venizon. So it's 11 tracks. It's like 75 minutes. When I'm in the mood for it, like this album, top to bottom, slaps. But if I'm not really in the mood for it, some of the songs really do kind of drag out and kind of overstay their welcome. It is a very, very good album. And I have said in reviews, and I even discussed it in our year-end video, is, even the songs that like drag on too long, like just when you're about to hit that, hit the skip button, and then they come crashing back with some awesome riff that kind of draws you back into the song. So I think it's by design. I've often said that I think they purposely write the songs that way because it will invoke that kind of reaction. But I have to be in the mood for this. It's 75 minutes, pretty intense French black metal, and it's like it can overstay its welcome for sure. And then I was trying to think of some other albums that I had that would have fallen into that, but I think the only thing I had that or packed away in my in CD boxes in my closet, and that's like a couple of those later Iron Maiden albums.
Yeah. All right, Devon, what'd you pick?
I pulled a couple, but I'll be quick. So first one, the return record. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 14 songs, an hour and 7 minutes. I'm not sure why. Good record, but too long. And then this one. This is Dot's third Curse in Your World to Live. Greek black metal. This is like Judas Iscariot kind of, but it's an hour and 7 minutes. And after a while, it's like, I'm done with this. Let's turn this off. But yeah, not the best record, but that would definitely be. This is a favorite for 2000s black metal killer stuff. This one's a different record though. But yeah, good but too long.
Nice. Man, I can't imagine listening to a Judas Iscariot style band for over an hour.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that'd be like listening to like Transylvania Hunger for an hour.
No thanks. I'm good.
Just that real repetitive, just driving, fast paced polka blast. All right, what was the next?
Here's the favorite shirt, favorite band T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
I pulled. I don't know if this is my favorite T-shirt or not my favorite T-shirt or my favorite band, but it's kind of like one of the most unique. Is my long sleeve Suffocation Breeding the Spawn. This is an original Blue Grape. Remember the Blue Grape catalog from the?
Yep.
Yeah. There was a store when I lived in New Orleans. When I was younger in high school, there was a store. It was like like leather jackets and stuff like that. But they had a whole bunch of the Blue Grape T-shirts, and I had a whole bunch of them too. I had a couple of Cannibal Corpse shirts. I had one of those early like Sepultura shirts, like with the original, like cool unreadable logo. And most of them I either lost or they ripped. And but this is the one that I've been able to maintain the quality of it. So I don't really wear it very much unless like I'm going to a show or something like that. But it's kind of a classic. And, it's got the Blue Grape logo down there somewhere, and it's not even nearly my favorite Suffocation record, but it's a good one though. And yeah, man, it's just kind of a classic, and it's still in good shape. So crazy that it's lasted this long, but I've been able to maintain it because everything else is fucked. So what about you, Tyler?
I have a couple shirts, but I pulled this one out.
Oh yeah.
So I got this originally as a T-shirt. I think it was one of those old like eBay purchases from way back in the day. So it's not an official shirt. It's not, because the other shirt I was going to pull was actually a Bathory shirt that I bought in Seattle at Zion's Gate. That 100% is a bootleg, but fucking awesome shirt. It's got the big Thor's hammer on the front, but it's also got an inverted cross in the middle of it. I couldn't find it in my one closet, but this one though, I've worn this the most over the years, and this has been my go-to like gigging shirt. Like if you look through old Facebook photos, anytime you see me on stage playing with Rubizol or my old days and down my entrails, I was probably wearing this shirt with the sleeves cut off. And also, like, how can you not like the old Immortal logo? I mean,
it's the best.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite shirts. I have a couple, but yeah, I'm quite partial to that one.
Yeah, no, none of those here.
I'm waiting for my 72 seasons stuff to come in. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you ordered like the deluxe package of 72 seasons. Yeah. All right, Devin, what'd you pick? Or you
I
wearing
pulled a couple, so this band's shirts are hard to find, especially for a price that's not expensive, but this is a favorite one.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
That's bootleg, but whatever. And then this band, the better it's terrible, but the OG Impaled Nazarene.
Oh wow!
Shirt. Oh, dude, I like that artwork on that album.
Yeah, I do too. But my reissue, let me show you. It's this.
Yeah, the kind of the digital. Yeah, I mean it looks like a modern day extreme metal album. But yeah, that OG cover though, like actually you want to talk about, if not for the logo, you want to talk about an album that, what was the earlier question, like an album with a cover that, if the cover doesn't match the music, that would be that album. It looks except it has the logo on it. So
it looks more like a Cult of Fire album, kind of.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that, Devin?
eBay, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's sick.
Hell yeah.
I was wondering if you were going to pull something from Death Fest, because I remember you bought like a shit ton of shirts at Death Fest.
Yeah, I didn't pull any of those though.
Because they had a lot of pretty awesome stuff there. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think I have a Bolt Thrower shirt. So, you got another one you're pulling, Devin?
Think so. It kind of looks like it. Or not.
I was just putting it up. Okay, cool. All right, so share a band that has been around for at least 24 years that you think is still going strong creatively and relevance. Pretty easy pick for me. Won't spend too much time on them, but Enslaved. No surprise here because, you know, for me, like I just think they have not gone wrong ever. I think every Enslaved record is good, good to great. You know, of course, there are some better than others, but I don't think they have a bad record at all. I could have easily said this was the artist that would has done no wrong as well. But Heimdall, the new record, I think is fantastic. Made my top 10. I feel like they've kind of brought back some of the early weirdness of the band and also pushing forward their, you know, progressive nature that they've always kind of gone for. And I've always felt that, you know, Enslaved has been a progressive band even from the beginning, even if they were, you know, sort of the early black and Viking metal, they always had a progressive edge to them. And I've always really dug that about them. So I don't think they're slowing down at all. And this album is testament to the fact that they are on the top of their game as always, always relevant to me, going strong. I mean, I think they're 24 years, right?
Yeah, because they got started in the early 90s.
Yeah, so they're 34 years probably. But
yeah,
I mean, hell, man, they're going strong as hell, man, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. What about you, Tyler?
I wasn't quite sure if this counted or not because there was like a 15-year break in between albums, but I'm going to share the Hate Forest again.
Oh yeah.
Like when Hour of the Centaur came out, I mean, it picked right up where he left off, you know, where Roman left off previously. But then you keep in mind that, you know, he's also stayed busy with like Droog and Windswept and Rottenfanger and Blood of Kingu and, you know, and Precambrian. Like he's had, you know, he stayed consistent. He stayed busy. But yeah, these last couple of Hate Forest albums have been, I think, some of their best stuff. The Sowing the Salt EP that came out recently is killer. Like, I mean, he's got a formula for his music, and I don't see it like turning sour anytime soon until he stops recording music, of course. But like I said, there's that 15-year gap, so I'm not quite sure if that counts. But another band that came to mind, and once again, boxes of CDs in my closet, they're all packaged up. But another band that's been cruising right along since the late 90s is Rammstein. Like, I have like pretty much, I don't have the last couple of Rammstein albums, but I have like everything up to so far. And I can't think of an album there that I actually thought was bad. I mean, there's some that are like a little more lackluster than others, but like those guys have their niche and they're sticking to it. And it seems like each new release is kind of getting bigger and more grandiose. So, I mean, I think that's a sign of staying relevant and, you know, staying creative. But yeah, I wanted to pull like the first album because I have Herzlite somewhere up there on my shelves, but yeah, I think Rammstein would be one that would fit.
Rammstein, that's the band that did do Hast, right?
Mm-hmm.
The big band? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, they just released a new album like a year or two, like a year ago. So, I mean,
I wouldn't have pegged you for a Rammstein fan, but
no, I got into Rammstein the Lost Highway soundtrack had like 2 or 3 of their songs on there, and me and my buddy were like, "The fuck is this?" Like, and then we went down, like we bought like the first 3 albums like as imports, like they weren't being released in the United States. So yeah,
go ahead.
I'm definitely a Rammstein fan.
I saw them play live. It's kind of embarrassing, but the Family Values tour. It was like Korn, Limp Bizkit, Ice Cube, Orgy, I think it was, and Rammstein. And that was like in my mid period where like metal kind of died out, like in the mid to late 90s. You know, I remember being at that show and like seeing like Korn and being like, God, this shit sucks. Like I thought I kind of liked it, but Rammstein was great though. They were funny and entertaining. Yeah.
No, those guys they know what they do and they do it well. They stay in their lane very well.
All right, Devin, what did you pick for this one?
So this band had a period where they got kind of boring, but this was my favorite album from 2021, and definitely they've been on a roll their last 3 or 4. I think Jimmy, you will agree with this.
Oh, for
Voivod,
sure. Yeah, I could have picked that one too.
killer record, my favorite album from 2022. So yeah, awesome record. They definitely are on a late career resurgence. Their last 3 records have all been killers. So yep,
Yeah.
Voivod.
Yeah, that rules.
Yep.
Are you gonna go see them? Because they're
Well, I don't know if they're playing. I still live in the middle of nowhere, so I have to go like a 6-hour drive to go to a show. So we'll see.
yeah, they're coming
Maybe.
here in I think it's March sometime. They're going to be here in Denver. So even my wife likes Voivod, so we're gonna go to that for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's a band that could certainly do no wrong. Really just on, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's because of Chewy. I think in a lot of ways, the guitar player has really revitalized that band. But amazing stuff. Share your favorite band mascot. This one's kind of goofy because, like, I don't really think there's a whole lot of mascots to choose from. But for me, I just got to go back to my childhood, and it's Megadeth, Vic Rattlehead. And I don't know. I mean, you could go this or Eddie or whatever, but there's early Megadeth records, especially this cover art. It's probably my favorite Megadeth cover art with Vic. And this is like one of the, like, I think they repressed all this stuff, but this is kind of an earlier pressing that's kind of a little messed up, but I don't know. Yeah.
Nice.
Always loved the look of Vic Rattlehead. Always thought he was cool. And, I think having a mascot was kind of a thrash metal thing.
Yeah.
And you can really pick a lot of thrash bands that had something. Like even Overkill had like the bat with the skull kind of thing.
Yeah.
But,
And then who's that? What was the character mascot's name for Anthrax?
I don't even know what the name is for that.
Not Man, I think.
It's something. I mean, it's Anthrax, so it's something.
Or was it
goofy.
just Man, maybe? Or something like that. But
Yeah, some. But yeah, you're right. It seems like a lot of those bands had kind of a mascot.
Vic Rattlehead and Megadeth is probably one of the bands that really got me into metal, and this record, and obviously Rest in Peace, like still to this day my favorite thrash record of all time. But Vic Rattlehead.
Yeah, I'm not pulling anything out for this, but Eddie.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden. I mean,
yeah, come on.
That's my childhood, like buying all the Iron Maiden stuff and getting stoked seeing Eddie on a cover.
Yeah. Dev, what about you?
Eddie was too obvious, but I don't know what this guy's name is, but I went for the Sodom mascot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember.
Actually, yeah. I don't know if there's a name for that guy, but he's on most of the good chunk of the album covers.
I almost went for Snaggletooth for Motorhead too, but this seemed like a better choice.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of an obvious one too. But like I said, I don't care if Eddie's super obvious, but
yeah, I mean it's kind of a goofy question for this tag because you don't really have a whole lot to pick from. I almost picked how Pestilence has the sphere in a lot of their cover arts. Like it was in Testimony of the Ancients and Spheres, and like a lot of the newer records have the sphere that they had from. I always thought like, okay, that could be kind of a mascot, but it's not really
this thing.
Yeah, that. Yeah,
the space ball thing.
Yeah, they've used that like on a lot of albums, but not every single one. I don't know if you have to have some kind of mascot on every single one, but the Sodom guy is on most of the records, I would think, like with the gas mask. And
yeah, I think so.
You could argue Abbott's almost a mascot at this point.
That's true.
Actually, the last couple albums have that kind of, I don't know, that Frost Giant face thing going on.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the random pick from your collection. So I know you guys are going to just grab something. The way I did this is I just went on my phone with my list, my MP3 list, and I just put it on shuffle and waited for the first song that came on that I have a physical copy of. And so the first thing that came up was, and I haven't heard this in a long time, is Secret Chiefs 3, Zafan. And so Secret Chiefs 3, this is Trace Bruance, who was in Mr. Bungle, and who else did he play with? I mean, I think Bungle was kind of his big thing. But Trace Bruance, this is kind of like his band that he's been doing for many years now, and I don't really know how to describe them. I've seen them live a few times. I've got a friend that's like a huge Melvins fan and big into like Bungle and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not really a huge fan of all that kind of stuff. Like I like some Melvins, but like I would just go to shows with him. Let's go hang out. And I think the first time I saw Secret Chiefs, it might have been with the Melvins. But they're cool stuff, man. I don't know how to describe it. It's just weird, like kind of Middle Eastern kind of sounding music with a avant-garde kind of edge to it. They all dress in like cloaks and hoods, and they did this really killer cover of the Halloween music with like all these crazy synths and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but it's cool shit if you're into Bungle and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you'll dig anything that Trey Spruance does, because I think Spruance probably wrote a lot of the Bungle stuff as well. But Secret Chiefs 3 was fun.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna pull a random album. Yeah.
Go for it.
Dun, 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 dun,
Right.
dun.
I was hoping for something more obscure.
I think I saw what it is. Yep.
Oh well, because on the same shelf I have a couple like really random ass compilations. Well, one really random ass compilation that was actually I would have been stoked if I picked that. And actually, you know what? Fuck, I know where it's at. I'm just gonna pull it real quick because I want to show this one off.
That's a good pick too, though. Orchid. That's definitely one of my favorite Opeth records.
So years ago, when they were still like the local CD stores, I'd always peruse around the metal section, and then I was always looking like the techno and industrial sections, and I liked a lot of different things. And in the goth/industrial bin, I found this compilation, "Darkness Is Thy Kingdom," journey into dark metal sounds or whatever. So I was like, oh, cool, industrial. And then I looked on the back. I mean, check out some of the bands that are on this. So, Justania, Covenant, Twilight, Ulfra, Falkenbach, Siebenbergen, Theater of Tragedy. So it's like there's a lot of black metal on this, and this is the first my introduction to Falkenbach. This is the when Gellerhorn will sound. That was the first Falkenbach sound or track I ever heard, and it was on this random ass compilation CD that I found in not the metal section at a local CD store. Like I didn't even. Yeah, I mean I'm not even familiar with those labels.
Nice. Zoom shot.
Absolutely random. But anyway, so yeah, Orchid. I haven't listened to this in a long time, but this was one of my favorite Opeth albums for like the longest time. So
it's probably the only record that they ever had kind of a black metal kind of sound. Well, Morning Rise maybe a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, Still Life had its moments too, more intense moments.
All right, Devon, grab something.
Ooh, another classic. I didn't do that on purpose.
Hey, nice.
Perfect.
Windeer.
Fuck
So
yeah.
cool.
That's
Not-
is that the which one's that one?
On
On tour.
On
Yeah.
tour. Not my favorite, but still a good record, though. So, yeah, definitely classic of the Norwegians.
Fuck yeah.
That's definitely my favorite. But they're all good, though. I mean,
Yeah.
That album has my favorite song, but it's probably not my favorite album. Like, I don't remember what the Norwegian title is, but something about the troll and the blacksmith or whatever. It's like the really super melodic song on that one.
yeah.
Like the exceedingly melodic one. I mean, that's most Windier songs, though, I guess. Exceedingly melodic.
Love that record.
Fuck yeah.
All right. We're toward the end here, the very end. Show an album from a metal band that others may not consider metal. So it's kind of a tough one. So, yeah, I didn't really find much, and this isn't really metal at all. But I went with a band called The Contortionist with Clairvoyant. And this is a band that I think originally, I don't really know this band's, other than this record. This is really the only one I know. I think they started off as sort of like a deathcore, metalcore with like progressive leanings type band. And after, 3 or 4 records, they sort of evolved into a more like kind of a cynic, cynic hybrid kind of, there really isn't any metal at all on this record. But the reason why I ended up getting this was because I don't remember if it was a review or somebody was telling me about it, that they were like, if you're into cynic, you'll really dig this. And I listened to it a bit, and I really, really liked it a lot. I mean, it's just very, very much like in that same realm, just ethereal, progressive, kind of jazzy, polyrhythmic, just kind of forward-thinking musicians. But there's no metal on this. I mean, the guitars get kind of heavy every now and then, but the vocals, there's no harsh vocals or anything like I think there was on their earlier records. I think I went back to some of the earlier stuff, and it just wasn't really my thing. But I don't know. This was just something a little bit different for me that I really enjoyed. And so if you're a cynic fan, things of that realm like Exist, stuff like that. The Contortionist. This is, it's like, guess what they would call like a modern metal band at the time when they were actually metal. But so if I was to tell you this was a metal band and you listen to it, you wouldn't think this was metal at all. It's just, it's more just progressive space rock kind of stuff. But Contortionist. Good stuff.
Nice.
All right. What'd you get, Ty?
All right. So this one, like, you'll be familiar with this one, Jimmy. But first I want to show the metal album by the band Raunacht.
Oh yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah. So Killer it's blackish metal, but it's more kind of like this German folk metal with black metal elements. So I got into this after this album, Winter Still.
Oh, you got a physical of that.
Yeah, from Antique. Yeah. This was my introduction to Raunacht, and I thought they were like an ambient, dungeon synth type of band. I didn't realize that they were actually a metal band until I looked them up for shits and grins on Metal Archives, and I was like, black metal? What the fuck? And because this is 3 songs and it's almost an hour long of just really good nature drenched ambient compositions, like really good synth compositions on this. But yeah, definitely not metal, but done by definitely a metal band.
Yeah. Yeah, I like both of those. I've got that metal one. I don't know the name of it. Didn't that come
It's
out
actually,
on Devon
so
Moore
this one,
14, I think?
yes. So I think this is a later version, because I saw something where this album originally had a different name. But I'd have to look it up again. But anyway, yeah, this is really good. And then this is exceptional. I mean, I've used this on one of my hiking videos. I used one of the tracks from this.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. It's really good. I don't have a physical of it though. I didn't even I must have slept on that. I didn't realize they had.
They probably still do. I got it from the antique website. I think they still have copies of it.
Yeah. All right, Devon, what do you get?
So this band, I wouldn't say is metal. They became more of a rock band, but to me, it's just like a kind of like melodic heavy metal album.
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
I love that record.
Super catchy, awesome. Their last 2 records are basically kind of borderline unlistenable to me. They became super generic and kind of like a radio pop band, but their first 3 records are all solid, just kind of like melodic heavy metal / rock. So yeah, good record, definitely the best. They're awesome live too. At least they were when I saw them. So you have Ghost with Prequel, I think. No, not Prequel. Opus Eponymous. Never mind. Yep. Debut from 2010, I think.
Yeah.
When came out.
I love those first 3 records.
Yeah,
they're all great. I like the new one too, personally. I definitely see what you're saying, and you're kind of right. Like I wouldn't say it's unlistenable, but they definitely kind of went into more, kind of pop, like this 80s pop kind of thing. But they write good songs and they have good melodies, and I don't know, man, they do a killer live show. But those first 3 though were great, especially Melora. I really love that one. It's got some really good songs. But they kind of get. I always tell people that kind of shit on Ghost. I'm like, well, Iron Maiden was that big in their heyday. They were selling out arenas, and they were great. So you don't have to necessarily not like them just because they're popular, or you just don't like what they're doing. But I love that band. I think they're great. So, all right, we did it, and that was pretty good. I mean, I figured we would probably do it in about 2 hours, but 2.5, that's pretty good. I think we had 20 people at one point watching. So everybody that joined, really appreciate it. I thought great idea, Tyler. This was a lot of fun. I mean, I was planning on probably doing it just to, but I just feel like this kind of stuff is a lot easier to do on a live stream and more fun than trying to just set the camera up and go through it and be like, oh yeah, I like this one. And it's just a lot more engaging when you have people to talk about it, Man.
Yeah, for sure.
So real quick before we wrap up, just a few quick channel updates. I don't want everybody to kind of chime in here, but just as I mentioned at the beginning, I started a new job a month ago. So I've been kind of consumed with this whole transition in my life, which has been a good thing. And I think it's going to be allowing a lot more time off, I think, for me. So I'm as soon as I get that, I'm going to really start focus on getting more hiking videos to come to my channel here. So really got some big plans there. So more peaks, more adventure style stuff, and hopefully engaging content. So what about you, Tyler? You've haven't had too many videos yet this year. Are you going to be bringing us some hiking stuff? Or
yeah, actually, I was hanging out on Jeff's channel on the Saturday stream this last weekend, and I have a bunch of footage from a few trips I've done so far this winter. But and kind of keeping with the theme of how I usually do my videos, they're almost kind of like virtual hikes, right? You see the beginning of the hike, you see I don't know, the high point, the summit, the end point, whatever you want to call it. And then usually my videos are ending on the return trip. Well, there's a few videos, I started, I'd go out, I'd film the main view, and then something would happen. And I wasn't getting any footage coming back. So it kind of felt like a lot of just incomplete trip footage. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to compile the footage I have. I think I'm just going to make a video and just kind of a winter recap so far, because I haven't really gone anywhere new. Anything I'm going to be posting, I've already posted videos for. If I was to do a whole trip video, but if I have enough footage, which I think I do, I think I'm going to slide in my top 5, 10, whatever picks of 2023, and just kind of combine the two, make it like little snippets of each of those songs or each of those albums for a soundtrack to kind of a winter recap. So, but man, the weather's been brutal, and I just haven't been very inspired to want to get out and really do any kind of climbing or anything else right now. I mean, like I said, it's well below zero right now, and it's not very encouraging to not very encouraging to me to want to get out and do shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably going to come a little bit later when it gets a little warmer. I kind of figured it was kind of the same for me. I'm hoping to try and do a winter overnight again and try my hand at that and see if I can succeed this time. Of course, it's not as cold here as it is there, but yeah, once you get up in the mountains, it's still going to be pretty frigid. So, so we'll see, but look forward to that, man. And look forward to, that's great, man. You should definitely do that. Just nothing wrong with a compilation, if you don't have like a theme video, like just throw it all together and just put something out there,
Well, it was just random shit. It was like one of the trips, I went out to, there's like a frozen waterfall. That's a real popular hike. But I was on the return trip and I got caught up with some gal who's on the trail. She was scared to hike it by herself. She was like, "Oh man, I'm always deathly afraid of running into a moose here." And she had a dog, and I was like, fine, like you can tag along. And then, so I wasn't very encouraged to pull out the phone and film shit because she just, she was kind of weird, and I don't think she would have liked the camera being out.
Yeah,
and that was just one of them. Like one of the other trips, I ran into a friend, and it was kind of a similar deal. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable pulling the camera out to get my shots because, there's like a random person, not random, like we kind of knew who she was, but there again, it was a similar deal, and it was just like, fuck, wasting footage, man. I'm wasting, wasting a day in a way. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna go through what I have, and I'm just gonna make like a compilation video of what I've done so far for this winter.
Cool. Cool. And I want to give a extreme congratulations to my boy Devon here for hitting 1,000 subscribers. Congrats, buddy. That's badass, man. Well deserved. He's been doing it for a while. You guys, everybody that watches my channel, I'm sure watches Dev. So but yeah, bro. That's a huge hallmark. And so. Are you just going to keep doing what you're doing, man? Or you got anything planned? Or
yeah, I think I'm going to do like a Roadrunner Records highlight for my next video, maybe.
Cool.
And then I'm going to do like a Norwegian black metal favorite albums video too in the future.
Oh yeah.
I approve.
Yeah. You saw the last video I did, the 2000s classic one.
Yeah, that was good, man. You had some really good picks on there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just recently, I got over 100 now. Recently, I was at 99, and then I got like 3, like one that I actually got a notification of, but then there's 2 other subscribers that I didn't get a notification of. So I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, that happens. I'm sure that happens to you too, Devon. Like some people you get notifications for, some you don't. I don't know why that is. Maybe it has something to do with like people that actually have content on YouTube versus people that have accounts that don't.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
That's the only, I may be wrong about that. I'm just guessing that's what it is because I see that happen too. But
no, if you have your subscriptions public, that's when you get a notification because some people have it private. Like if they subscribe to someone, you don't see the notification because they have their subscriptions private.
Oh,
I thought you already hit 1,000, Jeff. Well, you're just about there.
I'm gonna go unsubscribe and make him back at 998.
Yeah, let's all go. Well, I was his 666 subscriber when I subscribed one of my other accounts to get him there. But Jeff's almost there too. Well deserved. He's got a lot of cool stuff coming up as well.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Dev, it's great, man. I'm really happy for you. Keep it up.
Thanks.
And that's the other thing, Tyler, is like if you don't like release videos often, like I think you start.
I'm not even sweating it. I was actually surprised. Like I was looking the other day, and the reason why I even brought it up, like actually I brought it up in the Saturday group. It was Wyatt's metal something. he was my 100th subscriber, but I was looking, I was like, oh, I got 99 subscribers. Like I wasn't even paying attention to that, like because I post so kind of infrequently, so I'm not really pushing the brand, as it were. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That was kind of a nice surprise. I'm hitting triple digits. So
Yeah, it's cool. That's good stuff. I mean, I think we can all agree that, at the end of the day, who gives a shit? I mean, we all get to hang out, and that's what's most important, and like putting up cool stuff. But it is cool to, kind of get the count up and get a little bit more visibility. You never know. You might run into somebody at a show and like make a new friend or whatever it is. It's just a good thing. So, but right on, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys, coming and hanging out with me tonight. So it was a lot of fun. So let's keep in touch, and keep videos coming along this year. And we'll be jumping on some streams for soon. Everybody that jumped on and watched us, thank you so much. And we'll catch you next time. So cheers, guys.
awesome. Cheers,
Guys. Catch you later.
Later.
See ya.